Thanksgiving Day plus one. Hoping everyone had a fabulous turkey day out there. We've got a special show today on Buffs Brothers. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in as we get ready for the number 25 Buffs to take on Oklahoma State Cowboys. Down my wingman today, my brother, the other Buff brother over on the left hand side of the nation in the mountain region. But to make up for that, we're going to have kind of a pop in, pop out session of any number of guests today on the show. So looking forward to see who pops in, who what knowledge they have to drop on us today in their time here, and then they'll probably scatter out and move on with their day while we trudge through the game here. So just a couple minutes to kick off gives us a chance to kind of recap where things are. Big breaking news over, I think, this last evening, adding on to Deion Sanders and the the coaching staff commitments, which was big news, kicked off last week when we had Julian Lewis decommit from USC and committed to the University of Colorado, which is fabulous. Last night, quite a haul from Sanders and the crew, where they got commitments from IMG Academy defenders London Merritt, Alexander McPherson, and they also got offensive tackle Carday Smith, who's going to be an excellent complement to the number one overall guard last year, who's already on Colorado's line. And we picked up a speedy wide receiver, Quentin Gibson. So just looking at some of the folks that have come in, Merritt was the number 52 in ESPN's 300, and he is the number 5 defensive prospect in this class of 2025. So he will immediately jump in. He was the Ohio State commit 2025 before he pulled his pledge earlier in the week, just on Tuesday. Now he is headed to Boulder, which is fabulous. Merritt and McPherson, both again IMG Academy folks, took visits to Colorado earlier in the month, and both must have liked what they saw because they both signed up. Smith is the number 32 offensive tackle prospect in 2025, and he's an Alabama native, and he will complement Jordan Seaton quite well on that line. The more help that we can get with upgraded 4 and 5 star prospects, the better that we are going to be. So with that key in mind, I think the other big item for discussion, certainly to kick off things, is with the outcome of the loss last week, 37-21, with Kansas just running all over us and literally running all over us with the running back. The dude was a beast last week. He, I think, compiled close to more than 300 all-purpose yards between rushes and catches. So really need to seal that up today. But clearly important for the Buffs to rebound, to do their part to make things a little bit easier, to have a path at the Big 12 championship game and perhaps some more. So when you look at kind of the scenarios that are out there, and the unfortunately the other 3 games that matter to Colorado are not until tomorrow. Today's the only game of the 4 tied teams at the top of the Big 12. We got Oklahoma State and Colorado here kicking off in just a couple of minutes. Number 16, Arizona State takes on Arizona tomorrow. Arizona has not had a good year, but never discount those rivalries, in-state rivalries. They always provide a lot of excitement, which is great. Kansas State takes on Iowa State, another big, important game, and that will be a good one to keep an eye on as well. And then finally, Houston takes on BYU. BYU having a couple of late stumbles so far. The last 2 weeks, taking them out of their perfect season. They are taking on a Houston team, however, who is towards the bottom of the Big 12 in scoring. And so the hope here is that Houston can find an answer and be able to kind of push forward here. So when we look at some of the scenarios here for Colorado, to be able to make it to the Big 12 championship game, Colorado has to win today. They have to find a way. Um, Let me find the game here to be able to have a chance at being a part of the Big 12 championship game. And they need some losses. They need some help by two of the three teams. They need either Arizona State, BYU, and or Iowa State to all lose, at least two of them. Their losses to Kansas and Kansas State certainly did not help them. It has not helped them, which is not a good thing. And it doesn't it hurts them in their tiebreakers against those teams. Um, Arizona State, Colorado, Iowa State, and BYU. Or if Arizona State, Colorado, and Iowa State win and BYU loses, and Texas Tech beats West Virginia, and Baylor beats Kansas State, and Cincinnati beats. I'm sorry, Baylor beats Kansas, and Cincinnati beats TCU. Colorado just sneaks in and will likely face Iowa State. So lots have to happen when you look at kind of scenarios and you look at odds. It's never a good thing when you have to have, 5, 6, 7 things happen your way, which gets you down to, 12% of those things happening, and that can lead some stress. So we're not going to know a lot until tomorrow, but that's all right. And as we kind of move into the game here, we are going to have a beautiful day here in Boulder. Sun's out. Hopefully, the crowd fills up the stadium and moves this thing forward. My hope is that Colorado really shows out early and often here. Let's put together a complete game at the end, and let's see kind of where that takes us. So, with that in mind, we are just moments away from kickoff. I think the other big news this week certainly was Coach Dion coming out and letting the nation know that both Hunter and Sanders were planning on continuing to play in the bowl game wherever that may ultimately end up for them, which is great. And it's always nice to have high talented players playing in the bowl games, giving one last look before they head off to the NFL. As Greg and I spoke last week, there was a lot of uh, uh, scenarios that are out there as it relates to the draft. We don't know clearly who's going to be in the driver's seat for the draft and who's going to need who's going to need which position to draft. So at the end of the day, uh, one of the projections actually had Sanders going first to a team that traded up for the first spot, and had Hunter going second, potentially to a team like the Cleveland Browns. So whoever drafts either of those players, when you look at kind of the those in the driver's seat with the worst loss percentage at this point in the NFL, you certainly have the Giants, who don't look good at all. The Jaguars, from last year's impressive run to this year, has been, I'm sure, a huge disappointment for that fan base and for that franchise. They're both sitting at 2-9. Let me pull up the rest of the standings here and see who else we're dealing with. Got some teams at 3-9, the Jets and the Patriots. I think the Raiders are also only a 2-win team. Cleveland Browns have 3 wins. Talked about the Jags, the Raiders, New York Giants officially were the first team to be eliminated from the NFL playoffs. And those are the teams fighting it out. Carolina has even won 3 games. So the teams with 3, Carolina, Tennessee Titans, Jets, Patriots. So, as Dion has noted, hey, listen, I'd prefer that my son goes somewhere, and I've got my list. Whether or not that's true, I think that some folks have come out and debunked that that's just hearsay. Wherever he gets drafted, he's going to go. But you do get to see every week that the Raiders lose. Shador Sanders tweets out, "Thank you, God." I think on his Twitter or his X handle. So Not sure if that means he's interested in going to the Raiders or what that is. But you might want to look that up. Look up that correlation between what is when his tweets go out and when the game where the Las Vegas Raiders actually conclude. So, uh, all right. So with that, I think we are just about ready to hit the ground running here and get Ralphie kicking off. The only other game of consequence that's currently going on right now is going to be the Oregon State Boise State matchup. Uh, Boise State right now is in the driver's seat as it relates to the college football playoff to ultimately have that an actual bye week as the number 4 seed. So for that to play out, certainly they need to take care of business today against Oklahoma State or I'm sorry, Oregon State. And Oregon State actually had a really nice start to their season as well. So it'll be interesting and fun to see kind of how that works out today. So we'll keep an eye on that game at the same time. And like I said, unfortunately, the majority of the games that matter to Colorado aren't going to be played until tomorrow, and so that's we're going to have to do some wait and see to see how everything goes. So with that, we got Ralphie on the field. Ralphie's making a run. For those of you who didn't know, or don't know, or don't recall, the this one right here, this Chip blanket back here. I actually spent some time as Chip back in the '90s for about 2.5 years, and we had a different Ralphie at that point running around, which was fabulous. I think I only made one sprint with Ralphie. That Ralphie was super fast, and best if you always trail Ralphie rather than lead Ralphie, because you will absolutely get stampeded if you decide that you want to try and outrun Ralphie. So best to, if you ever have the chance, I would absolutely say, yeah, reach out to the university and see if you can be part of that run squad, especially if you are a student at the university, because it is a quite an experience with Ralphie running around the field. So we are closing in on kickoff here. Quick look in at the Boise State game. Looks like Boise State is really establishing kind of the run at this point early. They have 4 plays now in the bag for 30 yards, and their running back, their fabulous running back, Ashton Janty, has all 30 yards at this point, and all the carries are with him. So it's a great start for Boise State. And now we're just looking for Colorado to have an equally successful kickoff and just get this one out of the way. And whatever is going to happen is going to happen throughout the rest of the day. So kickoff is on. We had a return 19 yards to the Oklahoma State 24, and that is where we will start the game here. Just trying to reload my television here since we're having a bit of an error, and we will follow it on here. So first play, it looks like it was a pass complete. Oklahoma State having the ball, pass complete. They did lose 2 yards on the play, bringing up a 2nd and 12, which is probably not the way that Oklahoma State was intending to start the game. Hang on here real quick. Just got to get remarried on my side here. We dropped some things, and we are back. And looks like this next play was a huge starting off right, a sack by the Buffs, 6-yard loss. Looks like Arden Walker got the hands on him first. Now we go from 1st and 10 to a 3rd and 18 early, with the Buffs defense in control at this point. Always hard. This is the way that Colorado started the last 2-3 games. they've started slow. They've been backed up. They've had um, interceptions and turnovers. Oh, and we have an interception. Who else picks it off? Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter. First throw of the game, Oklahoma State. Travis Hunter has himself an INT. That's another topic that we can talk about today. Is clearly Travis Hunter in the way that he needs to close out this season to really cement his front runner status. He eyed this ball the whole way. It was well off target, straight into his hands. He got a good jump on it. But Hunter pulling in a big day with being able to have some key plays on defense, start off with an interception, as well as plays on offense, I think is going to be huge. First play, Sanders gets out a really nice play to Shepard. Shepard picks up about 12 or 14. So now you got the Buffs already in control. 1st and 10, which is what is going to look like around the certainly well within the red zone at this point. We got it at the 8. Next play is a handoff, which is something that we really need to establish today. You got Michael Welch running for 7 yards from the 8 down to the 1. And just like that, the Buffs are 2nd and goal at the Oklahoma State 1. So we are barely into this game here. We're barely 2 minutes in, and the Buffs are knocking on the door, looking to cash in on the interception. And we'll get back to Travis Hunter here in a second. But, clearly Welch got it. Welch is in. So now, there you go. Straight up 6-0. 3 plays off the turnover, and the Buffs are on the board. Let's look up a quick Travis Hunter defensive awards. One of the Hunter has certainly racked up a number of different honors just based on how he plays both sides of the ball all year. He's a finalist for the Walter Camp and the Maxwell Awards, which are the generally assigned to the players of the year. Quarterbacks tend to win these just based on the numbers that they roll up on a monthly basis. And so, for him to be in that conversation, I think is important. You look back to some of the key folks, some of the key players, who were potentially have been a part of that in the past, and Charles Woodson comes to mind, who happened to be primarily defensive, and now we have someone like Hunter is very much in that conversation. The Bednarik Award, which is the Defensive Player of the Year, he's still in that conversation. The Bolitnikoff Award, which is the Best Receiver. Most Versatile Player, which is the Horning Award. And so he certainly has a lot of support for a number of these really important awards at the end of the season. But one of those that he was not named a finalist for, interestingly enough, was the Jim Thorpe Award, who is given to the best defensive back. So when you look at the numbers of the 3 finalists that are, let me pull up the Jim Thorpe finalists, he has comparable numbers. And I know Dion was very, very vocal this week of, essentially saying he wasn't sure what people were looking at when somebody like Hunter gets left off the list. And arguably, I think I have to agree with them. The 3 finalists are Georgia safety Malaki Starks. You've got, let's see, who else do we got? Well, I'll have to pull up the additional stats for this, but to go back to to go back to something that Deion Sanders saying, Sanders essentially said he will give Hunter his Thorpe Award because it's just collecting dust. And if college football in general can't see the value that Hunter has brought this season and being the best defensive back, he's happy to give his award that he won back as a when he was playing at Florida State. So really interesting that Travis Hunter was left off. And again, I think Sanders being very vocal and really noting that it was, in quote, one of the most idiotic things that he had seen. So getting back to that, you've got Jahdae Barron of Texas, Caleb Downs of Ohio State, and Malachi Starks of Georgia. Um, when you look at Hunter's stats, he's got 30 tackles, a forced fumble, 3 interceptions, but now a 4th interception. And it's similar to the rest of the finalists. He is, like I noted, one of the 3 finalists for the Blitnikoff Award, which is the top receiver. He's got 1,036 yards and 11 touchdowns, 11 receiving touchdowns going into this week. So really putting himself in a great position. And of course, the Heisman Trophy is a big catch for him as well. And he currently has the highest odds. So kickoff in the hands back of Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State returns it up to, looks like, around the 25. So they are going left to right on our screen today to start the game, which is great. Again, a really beautiful day. It looks like they're in Boulder, blue skies, and I'm sure it's going to warm up some. It looks like they had some snow earlier in the week, and there are still remnants of snow there in the stands for some of the fans. So that is excellent. And checking in on Boise State. Boise State has just scored as well. But getting back to the Buffs games, the Buffs defense is swarming. All right, so that was they are now 2nd down and 11 at the 18. Oklahoma State. So they've tried to run the ball a number of times. They've been swarmed. Uh, Colorado already has a sack, and as Greg was pointing out last week, the sack totals that Colorado has this year, in comparison to prior years, has been pretty substantial. And they are, I believe, in the top 10 or top 15 in the nation in sacks. So starting out, the first couple of plays, already getting to the quarterback is great. Stuff in the run, which is something we couldn't do last week, that's for sure. Looks like a broken play with a quarterback keeper. Quarterback is dropped for probably another 2-3 yard loss on that one. So we are likely headed to another 3rd and long scenario here for Oklahoma State. Talking about Oklahoma State coach Gundy has done a phenomenal job over his what seems like decades there at Oklahoma State. So we are 3rd and 13 on Oklahoma State's 16-yard line, trying to get something going from Oklahoma State. They are dressed in their white uniforms. The Buffs are in black jerseys with white pants. A nice pitch and catch from the Oklahoma State quarterback, and the wide receiver really driving forward. A pass and catch to Malachi Smith. Got back 12 of those 13 yards. That does leave them 1 yard short, so that would leave it at 4th and 1 at the Oklahoma State 28. And it looks like Gundy is looking to send in his punt team, which gets Colorado again an advantage getting the ball back. We haven't really seen the offense. We saw them for 3 plays in a short field on the first go. The kick is on its way, and it looks like Webster is back, and fair catches, and now we'll get the offense back on the field. But getting back to Oklahoma State throwing up a record. They've lost 8 straight, and that's the first time I think in a long, long time that they've been on a skid like that. And the graphic that they currently have up is the last winless conference season that Oklahoma State had was back in 1994. 30 years ago. If they lose today, they'll match that winless streak that they had set 30 years ago, which tells you just kind of about the year that they've had. It's not been a good year for for Oklahoma State. I believe they also started the year similar to Kansas, ranked in the top 25, but clearly fell out very, very quickly. First play, going right to left. Buffaloes have the ball now, and they are moving the ball with a quick strike to Travis Hunter. See where we end up on a 5-yard gain. So we've got a couple balls out quickly already. 2nd and 5 on the Colorado 40. Um, and again, moving right to left on our television screen. Certainly in this quarter, the next play is a handoff, trying to get the handoff running. So that was Michael Welch. So Michael Welch seems to be carrying the load so far for the Buffs. 3 carries, and let's see where he's at. 3 carries, 10 yards, but he does have that early touchdown benefit of the turnover. Again, we talked about some of the scenarios for the Buffs, and when you see Arizona State taking on Arizona, the only thing you can hope for is that rivalry really picks up. All right, we got a 3rd down and 3. Nice pass from Sanders to Webster for about a 7-8 yard game, which is fabulous. 8 yards takes us exactly to midfield. So a good start for the Buffs. If they can mix it up today and really get that run and pass together, here's a nifty little play with almost like a sideways shovel, but slightly would be a forward pass against to Webster. A bit of a change on that flanker screen. Instead of holding everyone tight and then throwing it out there, they actually rolled Sanders out, and then he kind of had a pitch out to Webster, which is a new wrinkle, but it's a necessary wrinkle. We got to get him out of the pocket. Fake handoff. Sanders is running this play. He's down 40, 30, down to the 27-yard line like that. That's one of the things that I think Sanders is very good at. He is a talented, athletic dude, and he wants to make things happen. But how many times could he have taken the ball this entire season, or even last season, and used his legs and ran for it? And in that case, you saw it. He had a big run there. So here's another handoff, 1st and 10 at the 27, 28. It's a 2-yard loss, handoff to Michael Welch. He tried to break it out to the right-hand side, wasn't necessarily powering it up, and just got caught in the backfield a little bit behind his wall. So some good penetration by Oklahoma State on that play. So 2nd down and 12 from the Oklahoma State 29. At this point, Sanders is dropping back. He's under pressure. He is running, and he throws it away, almost up to the line of scrimmage. So the referees are scanning if that was something that would be considered intentional grounding. It looks like he has escaped. So total breakdown of the offensive line on that one, where 3 players from Oklahoma State really just rushed in, didn't have too much to worry about, and dropped. Oh, no, they did call intentional grounding. He looked like he almost got it back up to the line of scrimmage, but there were no receivers and an ineligible receiver downfield. But intentional grounding is going to be the call. That's going to back him up. There was no receiver in the area. I mean, it was clear that it was just trying to get rid of the ball, which he should, and he needs to, just get rid of it. So that's a big loss. They're back at the 43 at this point, 3rd down and 25. So, here we had Sanders doing good things and making a huge run, and then we get him dropping back and intentional grounding because of the jailbreak on the line. So Sanders stepping up, scanning the field. Who's he got? 30, 31. Smalls picks up I'd say probably 20 of those 25 yards back, and that's going to leave fourth down, although there is a flag on the field. There is laundry in the grass. So we'll wait for the referee to see what this is. The hope here would be that the defensive holding on number 2. So not only did that huge backup not it didn't happen, and it looks like it was a penalty where he really grabbed Travis Hunter and pulled him. Now that gives Colorado a fresh set of downs. That's a automatic first down, which is the breaks that Colorado needed. They certainly didn't get any last week. Last week was on all aspects of the game. There were a lot of things that really broke down, and a lot of holding calls did not go our way. All right, so here's a double reverse to Travis Hunter, who's looking to throw it. Now he's running for his life, and he got taken down for a long, long loss. It was going to be a reverse to Travis Hunter, who was looking to throw the ball, and Travis Hunter didn't see anyone open, and then just scrambled for his life. Although we are getting saved by an illegal substitution call. That was a huge loss back probably to midfield or back to the Colorado side of the field. And there's an Oklahoma State illegal substitution call, 12 men on the field. And but as that play was going, so again, we're getting saved by penalties uh, for these last two plays. I mean, the gain on the 3rd and 25. Like I said, we got about 20 of those back, but it didn't matter. There was a defensive holding call, and then that first down and 10, they tried a little razzle dazzle, nifty Travis Hunter throw something, but he chose not to throw. Here we go, 1st and 10. Shador's getting flushed out. He will pick up, although a couple of yards, and he got thrown down pretty hard there out of bounds on the sideline for no reason at all. And they are all mixing it up right now. As you can imagine, there's some flags on the field. So this is the 3rd straight play of some flags. This one may be unnecessary roughness on the Cowboys. But the reaction of the Colorado players was not good either, and that could be an offsetting, unsportsmanlike. So they just need to keep their cool, move it forward. Yep. I mean, Sanders, for no reason, really got flung into the. He was well out of bounds, and you just got to let him go. He didn't let him go, and he flung him into a chair with the momentum that Sanders had. So kind of a messy 3-play run here for the Buffs, for sure, where defense 44. So it was unnecessary roughness. So now you got half the distance or 15-yard penalty, pushing it forward for the Buffs. And that is going to leave it down. It looks like they're marking it down about the 13-yard line at this point. So Colorado benefiting from 3 straight penalties. The defensive holding play really saved them on a 3rd and long, and then you had an illegal substitution, which shortened it to a 1st and 5, and then this really kind of a bonehead defensive play of just not letting go of the quarterback when he's 6 yards out. So they take over 1st and 10 from the 13, and now Colorado runs for essentially no gain on 1st down, or they may have even lost. So it is 2nd and 11 from the just shy of the 15. So the touchdown side of the 15. Sanders drops back. He has on the crossing route, Travis Hunter gets down to the 10. So again, Colorado's going right to left on our screen. A quick delivery from Sanders to Hunter. Get some of those yards back. It should leave a 3rd and 6 from about the 10-yard line for Colorado here. So got all kinds of options at this point. When we look at rushing yards, Sanders currently leads with 13 yards of rushing, but I think a bunch of that was taken off. He had a really nice run of 20 plus yards, but certainly the sacks go against where his totals are. Sanders in the pocket dancing around, just got to get rid of it. You see somebody in the end zone, and who do we got? We got Webster in the corner of the end zone. So Sanders really keeping the play alive there, and stepping up in a tight pocket as it collapsed, and then avoiding a couple of players, and then picks out Webster in the corner of the end zone. Colorado now leads 13-0 with about 3 minutes 47 seconds left. So great start for the Buffs, capitalizing on the early turnover, as well as being able to really drive that field. It was a bit of a shorter field. I mean, they ended up taking over, their 35, 40-yard line on the punt, but drove it down pretty efficiently, again, with the benefit of a number of penalties. In fact, on the extra point, there's another penalty flag. So I feel like this could be quite the flag-heavy day for both teams here. Let's see what the call is. Defense lined up over the center. So Oklahoma State, it is not your day already as it relates to the flags. I think of that particular drive, including the extra point, there were 4 instances of flags on the ground. All 4 of those went against Oklahoma State. So we felt it last week, Oklahoma State, and perhaps this is karma. So let's go back while we have a break here and look at Boise State, Oregon State. So again, Oregon State on the year is 5-6. Boise State 10-1. Only loss was that tight one to Oregon early in the season. So if you're going to lose to anyone, the number 1 team, and you lose by a game-winning field goal, I think you've done all right. When you look at how that things could play out for them, they potentially could be on the side with Ohio State or Georgia, any number of teams. But having an extra week to prepare for any of those teams and not play that extra game certainly is huge. So for Boise State to really close things out and cement their position running away, I think is going to be important for them. So they, of course, are the beneficiaries of the highest of the Power 5 teams, or the non-Power 5 teams that make it the highest ranked team actually gets the automatic bye and the invite. Again, the fact that they have played so strong and only lost to Oregon, speaks to their abilities. It'll be interesting to see how they line up against some of these big teams. I mean, you've got some power horses that are in there for the top, at least the top 4: Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Texas. Like, how are you going to match up against one of those teams potentially? And which ones of those teams may not get an automatic bye going in? There's only 4 of them. So, the projections right now, let's see what the projected college football playoffs looks like. I like the little schematic that they have, but clearly on my fingertips, it is not there. USA Today has got ASU in as their projected, Clemson out. They got Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Miami, Georgia, Tennessee, SMU, Indiana in the top 10, Boise State 11, Clemson 12, Alabama currently sitting at 13. Arizona State at 16 would earn the 12th and final spot as projected as the Big 12 champion, but you got to get there to make it, and you have to win it. And if you stumble in any of those games, it's not going to be a good outcome. So, getting back to the game here, showing showing a little Sanders love here. Both his sons walking out on senior day with him, so probably a very proud dad on this particular day, and smiling as you look up, and it's already 14-0 with 3 minutes 47 seconds left. So Buffs kicking off the ball right to left. Oklahoma State picks it up about the 2, and they're taking it out around the corner. Number 83 goes, and he gets drilled. Gets drilled right just shy of the 20. So Oklahoma State ball, just shy of the 20, and that's where they will start their third series of this game. Looking at the stat here on the screen, Prime's progression the last 3 seasons, as you know, 2022 1-11. Prime took over 23. They did go 4-8, which is an improvement from 1-11 for sure. But the turning point of that season, I feel, certainly was the Stanford game. Like they were riding high. They were undefeated, or only had a single loss going into the Stanford game, and then being up 28 or 30 points at halftime of the Stanford game. Uh, Greg and I, we were actually down in Florida visiting our parents, and went to bed at halftime, thinking this one's in the bag. And that was another super late start because it was a West Coast game, only to wake up and see that they lost. The Buffs had lost that game, and I don't know that they won another game that entire year. If they did, they won just one, but I think they closed out their year on a quite a long losing streak. So this year, much different story. Thought things were going to start going south again after that Nebraska game. I mean, the Nebraska game, for those who watched it, for those who didn't watch it, it was as one-sided a game as you could get in the first half, and again miscues. And I recall Sanders had a quite the pick six early on inside our own 10, and that's not a good way to start there either. So. But from the second half of that game, defense made adjustments. They really shut down Nebraska, and from there, we've been off and running. With that game, Kansas State game, we had our chances. That one we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. That was we had a couple minutes left on the clock to be able to drive down and get a tying field goal when it seemed like we were out of the game for most of the game. Made it to about a 4th and 5, if I recall, 4th and 6. And as we typically try to do, instead of just picking up the sticks, let's get 5 or 6 or whatever the number is, and we keep moving. And we had plenty of time. We went for a 25 yard out on the sideline to a receiver that was double covered. Kansas State takes over. They win the game. And then fast forward to last week, we just couldn't take care of business, stopping the run. Sanders, I think, was very direct in the way that he addressed last week, noting, "Hey, listen, we adjusted as best we could, and we did everything. We tried a lot of things. We couldn't find the answer for. I think Dean is their Kansas Jayhawk running back, and he ate us for lunch all day. Came back for seconds." Even came back for thirds, and just snacked all day. And when you can't stop a single player for rushing over 200 yards and getting close to 100 yards receiving, that's not a recipe for success. And clearly they felt it last week, because the Buffs were in the driver's seat. You win that game, you're in the Big 12 championship game. Similar to BYU, I'm sure BYU, had they won that game, it would have been BYU Colorado, regardless of the outcome of this game. And now, like we talked about at the top, you have to wait for so many things to go your way for Colorado to make it to the Big 12 championship game at this point. So first of it is taking care of business. So back on the field here, we got Oklahoma State going long on their 1st and 10. Quarterback overthrows the intended receiver. The quarterback is Smith. See what Smith's stats are for the year here. So Malachi Smith is the starting quarterback. His stats so far this season, it looks like he stepped in much later in the season He has only attempted 46 passes coming into the game. He's completed 33 of them, so quite accurate. Second second pass is a gain of 9 for Oklahoma State. The quarterback or the receiver decides to do a quick spin to move forward and gets the ball stripped. Ball's on the turf, and uh, Shiloh Sanders, Johnny on the spot, picks it up. So great catch. He secures it. He's moving forward. 23 comes across and hits him. Ball's out. He's good. That was a great hit by 23. Shiloh Sanders on the spot, picks it up, rushes it forward for a couple of yards, and Colorado ball. So again, not a good start for Oklahoma State. I sense that they may review this just to make sure that it was a a play forward, that he had possession going forward. So it looks like that's what the stop is right now in the action, to make sure it was a football move going forward, before the ball was knocked out. But Colorado's on the field. Sanders loads it up, throws it outside on first down to Travis Hunter for a game 2. So Colorado back in the driver's seat. Colorado's got the ball on a short field for the second time. You got Shiloh Sanders with a fumble recovery. You got his brother Shadur Sanders taking over on offense. Second down and 8. Quick slant on the outside to number 6, who picks up some excellent yards. Get down almost to the 10-yard line. That was a nifty little play as he came across and picked up just a short again, almost like one of these flanker screens, but they're moving out the flanker screen and rolling them out rather than just having them wait there, and it gives the receiver a bit of an opportunity to move it forward. So first down and 10. Looks like they spotted it at the 11. And Sanders hands off. Nope, fake handoff. Throws the slant across to Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter has a touchdown. So there you go. Travis Hunter having himself a day already. As we noted, that was something that he needed to do. So he's got already in the first quarter an interception, and now he's got his 12th receiving touchdown of the year, which puts him in pretty good company. So lots of good stuff going on right now. 3 plays, 28 yards, 1 minute and 9 seconds, all it took. So still 2 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first half, or the first quarter. Apologies. And the Buffs are all over the Cowboys now, 21-0. So this is the game we needed last week, and we didn't get it last week. So 21-0, and we'll take a quick break here. Let's look at some team stats while we're on breaks. First downs, very lopsided. 8 for the Buffs, 0 for Oklahoma State. Total yards 88-9, 77 of those being passing, 11 being rushing. Welch is the top rusher for Colorado, only has 8 yards. You got to figure this gives us an opportunity to really open up that run game when you got a 21-point cushion in the first quarter. So the hope is that Sanders can help take advantage of that. Wester has 24 yards and touchdown. Sanders is perfect so far. He hasn't had an incompletion yet outside of the intentional grounding, but that gets called something different. So lasting impressions in the Heisman race here. You got Travis Hunter, you got Ashton Genty, and you got Cam Ward as kind of your top 3. And clearly today, already in the first quarter, Travis Hunter with an interception and a touchdown. So a great start of the day, and one that certainly he needed. But getting back to Shadur Sanders, 9 of 9 for 77 yards. So deep kick. Oklahoma State actually gets out and around. They had a great run back there. Looks like they got up into the somewhere around the 35 to 40-yard line, and that's where the Buffs defense will come back out. Just about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Take a peek really quick here at the Oregon State game. Boise State up 14-0 at the end of the first. So Boise State looks like they may be on their way to something a bit easier. So first play, Oklahoma State has the ball. It's a throw, and it is incomplete. So now it is 2nd down and 10. Ball currently on the Oklahoma State 38. So that was a great run back from Oklahoma State to be able to get up to the 38. So 2nd down and 10, ball on the 38, going from left to right. Oklahoma State with the ball. Really need to get something going here. They have 18 yards passing, and they are in the negative in rushing. So they likely, I think, as we checked in a moment ago, they only had 11 yards. Great call at the line for the Oklahoma State quarterback. Looks like he drew 3 Colorado players off on whatever his cadence was. So it looks like that's offsides. We'll do 2nd down and 5 now. Give them 5 free ones. Now at the Oklahoma State 43-yard line. So something's going right for your cadence when you can call it, and you don't just get one guy to jump, but 3 of the 4 down linemen on Colorado all crossed the line and clearly made some contact. So 2nd down and 5 for Oklahoma State. This is an important drive for them to get something going. The last thing you want to do is just hand it back to a team that's moving it forward at will. Bit of a mix-up on the rush there, and I think that's the first down for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State gets a 7-yard pass to the 50. Malachi Smith completed to Deshaun Stribling for the 7 yards, the first down. So a positive sign for the Cowboys, being able to move a little bit down the field. Last week versus Texas Tech, Stribling had himself a day, 7 receptions, 133 yards, and a TD. So they're going to need more of that today. Being able to come back from 21-0 in the first quarter. So Oklahoma State quarterback drops back. Receiver fell down right at the line to gain, and so that's a incomplete pass. Back to Stribling on that one, but incomplete. So that leaves 2nd and 10. 12 left in the quarter. Lots of injuries clearly decimating the Oklahoma State team. There's 12 to 14 players that they just highlighted that are currently out of this game with injuries. So hard to come back. Oklahoma State goes for another pass on 2nd and 10. Well covered on the outside. That leaves them 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, right on the 50-yard line. So this becomes one of those, if they don't pick it up, what are the Cowboys thinking? Are they going to go for it and get the punt team out, or are they going to see what they can do from the 50? Or are they going to play it as though they've got 2 downs to gain the 10 yards at this point? So lining up on 3rd and 10. Got Malachi Smith dropping back, and he throws it, and it is broken up by Colorado. So again, a well defended play by number 3 Hood on that in slant and broken up. So it does look like now at 4th and 10 at the 50-yard line. Oklahoma State is pulling out the punt team. It does look like that pass was behind the intended receiver, which makes it tough to adjust, especially when you got Hood draped all over him. And so Oklahoma State has their punt team out, and they are pushing it down the field. No one back deep for the Buffs. And boy, Oklahoma State had a real shot. The ball dropped inside the 10 and took a bounce with no one around it, with a number of Cowboys down there. They had they known where it was, they very easily could have backed Colorado up within their own 5-yard line, but not to be. Ends up being a touchback, and the ball is now placed on Colorado's 20-yard line to head out. So good start for the Buffs today, and I think in a much better situation than we had been the last number of games, where we actually started a game off well. There's 52 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and we're up 21-0. Like it's a good game. So first down, they're rolling people around. Again, this flanker screen that actually has people in motion. Out to Wester again, and Wester picks up, I think, 4 or 5 yards, but gets popped out of bounds. So I think this is going to be another unnecessary roughness call against Oklahoma State. See how far out of bounds on the replay. So he's out here. Yeah, and that guy, 44, same player. First down. So that's his second 15-yard penalty, right, for Oklahoma State, number 44. Playing clearly all the way until the ball's out, and then beyond that. So not a smart play. Two kind of bonehead plays for Wright, number 44 on Oklahoma State. To the first one on Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, when he was well out of bounds, and then just kind of flinging him into the bench. And then the second one there on Wester, as he was out of bounds, just out of bounds, but he didn't really pull up there as he approached him. So first down, Colorado. It looks like at 38-yard line. Sanders rolling out, just throws it away, but there is a flag on the play, likely a holding call. So 1st and 10 on the Colorado 41. That, if it is holding, and it does look like it, 77 Seton, that will back us up to 1st and 20 now on the Colorado 31. So when looking at that replay, it was a broken play. Sanders at least rolled out in that one and threw it away. But 1st and 20, not as good place as you want to be, but that's all right. All right, Sander is actually rolling out to the right. He's got number 7, who picks up a yard. So a very short game. That's going to leave 2nd down and 19. Though it looks like the end of the quarter may tick down. Colorado is hurrying up to the line with 10 seconds left. They're looking to get another play going, but then Coach Dion is actually saying, "Hold up, let's just take it to the quarter." So at the end of the first quarter, we've got Colorado 21, Oklahoma State Cowboys 0. Let us look for some stats here for that first quarter. 9 first downs for Colorado, 1 for Oklahoma State, 95 total yards for the Buffs versus 16 for Oklahoma State, which means that Oklahoma State has 25, if you do the math, 25 yards passing and -9 yards rushing so far. Colorado not doing very much on the rushing side of the ball either. They have 11. So if we could get some additional rushes and try and establish that, I think the 2 key plays for Oklahoma State in that first quarter were the turnovers. They lost a fumble and they had an interception early in that first drive, I think on their third play on 3rd down, where Hunter picked that up. So not the best first quarter. Certainly leaves the Buffs in a really good spot. 95 total yards, 9 first downs. Buffs actually with almost a 2-1 advantage of possession in the game so far. 9 minutes, just over 9 minutes to kind of a 3-2 ratio instead of a 2-1. 9 minutes to almost 6 minutes for Oklahoma State. So we'll pick it up in the second quarter here with the Buffs leading. Checking out where Boise State and Oregon State are. Boise State still up 14 to nothing. Looks like the Beavers of Oregon State just punted the ball. Gianti, the incredible running back from Boise State, already up to 60 yards and a touchdown, and they are just into the second quarter. So again, Gianti has had himself a year as it relates to rushing, and in largely in comparison to the record-setting year that Barry Sanders had while he was at Oklahoma State, where he did ridiculous things of 2,800 yards and I think 40 plus touchdowns, like a kind of a joke of a year. And when you think about how many fewer games potentially they played back then versus they play now, it just becomes even more astonishing how Barry Sanders pulled that off. I think his average was above around 250 to 270 yards a game in rushing over the course of that season. So Gianti doing great things at Boise State this year, which is fabulous. But getting back to some of the kind of the big wins for the Buffs this week, I think On3 noted that the Buffs recruiting class coming into this week was ranked, let's call it 65 in the nation. And those 4 commits within 30 minutes of each other on Thanksgiving Day bumped the Buffs up to number 30 recruiting class so far. And just, the signing day doesn't start until next week. So Sanders, I think the last I saw was up to 13, 12, 13, maybe upwards of 15 recruits so far that he's signed. I'm certain he's probably out with his coaches banging doors on other key recruits that they're interested in bringing in to really put a bow on this particular recruiting class. When you got the number 2 quarterback, you've got the number 5 defensive end, you have another highly ranked offensive guard who's going to complement who you have already. I think will from Colorado perspective be in a very good spot. So first play heading left to right from Colorado. Sanders can't find anything, getting flushed out, and he is off and running. Runs out of bounds about the 40-yard line. So that's going to leave, I think, a third down for Colorado to be able to pick up. It was 2nd and 19, if you recall that they had a 1st and 10. That was a 1st and 20. They did get 1 yard back, but now after that scamper by Sanders, we now have a 3rd and 10 back on the 41 with a Oklahoma State player down, Brown, number 87. He is getting up and walking off under his own power, so that's always a good sign. Looks like a neck stinger of some kind. Hopefully he's all right and being able to get back into the game. So getting back into the action, it's 3rd down and 10. That run by Sanders was for about 9 yards to get it from 2nd and 19 down to 3rd and 10. We are going left to right. Colorado has the ball about the 41-yard line, moving toward midfield, and Sanders changing the play call at the line. Plenty of time left before he needs to snap it. He's dropping back. Oklahoma State has a good rush on. Sanders stepping up again, and is forced to rush up the field. So he rushed for, I think, another 4 or 5 yards. It's going to leave 4th down and 5. And Deion Sanders opting to pull the offense off the field and go ahead and put the punt team out there. So the first time the punt team has to touch the field all day. Sanders up to 16 yards, although some of that, again, offset by sacks and the sort. Certainly take away some of the numbers that he had. He had a really nice 20-yard run, 25-yard run. Whoa! This might be an offsides by Oklahoma State. Their entire line rushed. Or it's going to be a false start on the Buffs. So if it's a offsides, that may give Colorado a 1st down. It is still fourth down. So it's got to be fourth down and super close now. Because it was 4th and 6. Now it's going to be 4th and 1. That was their entire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 Oklahoma State Cowboys rushing in, and now changes a lot of stuff. 4th down and 1, essentially at nearly midfield, and the Buffs pull the offense back out on the field. So Sanders comes back out. We got 4th and 1. And Colorado takes a timeout to talk things over before they do this. So a good mix up of decision here by Coach Prime, and being able to get his offense back out on the field for that 4th and 1 at midfield. So looking back at the only other game that's going on here, you've got Boise State and Oregon State. Oregon State now with the ball, so they must have shut down Boise State on that last drive. And it's 2nd and 10. Oregon State with the ball. They're backed up to their own 14-yard line. So lots going on. A big week this week in other sports at Colorado. I think one of the things that we've got in store as the Buff Brothers, knowing that the number of games are limited left here for football, potentially with some help, Big 12 championship game, and then if they can win that, go on to the college football playoff. If not, and this is the last regular season game and they don't get the help they need, of course they'll play in a bowl game, so we'll have one more. But I think the Buff Brothers are excited to announce a kind of a weekly wrap-up in between the seasons here, as well as while we still have some football games where Saturdays or Sundays, we likely just going to do a 15, 20-minute blitz on all Colorado athletics that happened during the week that we're aware of, bring folks up to speed. As you know, this week, a lot was going on with different sports. Colorado's men's basketball team playing in one of I think the Maui tournament, ultimately ended up taking down UConn, and that was a huge victory for them. UConn actually lost all 3 games they played, and their quest to repeat as I guess the three-peat of the national championship. Then the Colorado men's team lined up against Iowa State, who I believe is ranked number 5 in men's college basketball, and really got bounced around yesterday, and had a pretty rough day. 99-71 losing. So let me check on some additional sports here. In a Colorado Buffalo CO Athletics summary. Let's see what this is. By the way, if you did ChatGPT kind of football roundup and athletic roundup, they already have Colorado winning today, a thrilling 31-28 victory over Oklahoma State on Senior Day. So let's hope that's not the case when you're already up 21-0. But that's AI for you. But women's basketball, I believe we will look at the women's basketball side here in a minute as we get back to the game. 4th-down-and-1. And it is a designed run, and it is not going to work out because even after a timeout, Colorado had a false start penalty. So you go from 4th-and-6 to the punt team out to 4th-and-1 because Oklahoma State gifted you 5 yards, to taking a timeout, to putting your offense back out there, to then getting a false start penalty, and we're back to 4th-and-6. And I do believe that Colorado has now resent out the punt team. So we are back where we started. We are just 5 minutes further down the road here. So yes, the punt team is out, and it looks as though got a clean punt away. Nice high punt. Short punt, however, because it dropped out. The referees are still running up the field somewhere in the 20, 25-yard line. 1st and 10 Cowboys. So not a good punt from that position where you're nearly at midfield, the 45-yard line, let's say, 46-yard line, for 30-something yard punt. Needed to keep that inbounds a little bit longer. But good field position to start for Oklahoma. Oklahoma State, they could have been really backed up. And now they have 1st down and 10 on their own 25. Quick throw to the outside, and the Buffs get their hand in on there to break it up. Stoudemire breaks it up last minute to force the 2nd and 10. So still not a lot going on and happening for Oklahoma State. That was an incomplete pass headed to Presley, but a good defensive play on the outside by Stoudemire. It's lining up 2nd down and 10. Similar to the Buffs formation where you got the shotgun always going. It is a handoff this time. Oklahoma State handing it off and really driving for about 3 yards. That should leave about a 3rd and 7 on the Oklahoma State 28-yard line. Presley, all-purpose yards, FBS career rank, 2nd, 3rd in receptions, 6th in receiving yards, 10th in TD. That young man will do well if he goes forward and stays healthy with those types of stats. So 3rd down, 7. We've got a blitz coming, a rare blitz. There is a blitz sighting from the Buffs, putting pressure on Smith. Smith delivers the ball a little bit earlier than he was hoping to, incomplete, but that one was actually well covered by the defense as well. So likely would not have got the 1st down had he completed it anyway, but that leaves 4th and 7 for Oklahoma State. That was incomplete, targeting Ollie Gordon II, I think coming out of the backfield, but again, well covered, well played, and that blitzer, unexpected blitzer. So Oklahoma State with their punt team back out on the field likely could put Colorado in a very good spot. They've got an interesting lineup for their punt team here going on, but a good kick backs up Colorado, looks like to about the 23. So Oklahoma State did their part. They flipped the field, and in a positive sense, Wester caught it about the 23-yard line, 49-yard punt, and that's where Colorado would take over, heading into their next drive. 12 minutes, 16 seconds left. Again, Colorado is going to be going from left to right on your screen, or if you're listening out there and you're unable to see the screen, they're just going from left to right in your mind, so you can see what's going on there. All right, so first play back, Sanders has it. It is a handoff. It was a handoff over to the right-hand side, and is that Augustave? Nope, that's Welch again. Welch was just gobbled up as quickly as he got the ball. He followed his blockers, but really we tend to be running into our own players all the time. Like I think our running backs need to have a bit more dynamic nature to their run game to be able to pop out, find holes, instead of always running into the back of the defenders, and then you get backed up and blocked by yourself. So that was a 1-yard run, 2nd and 9. There was a flag down, but it looks like they may have picked that up. Sanders gets out a quick screen, one of these flanker screens, not one of these new design ones, but just the old one where the receiver pops in, and shockingly, it's the same result as it's been the last 4 or 5 weeks, a gain of 0. So just like that, 3rd and 9, like from flipping the field, really stifling Oklahoma State to now we have our own 3rd and 9, being able to get keep this moving forward. So 3rd and 9 from the 24-yard line. Colorado has the ball. Sanders drops back. Here comes the rush. He is running, rolling out, and he lets it go. Oh! Travis Hunter went really high, and got awkwardly undercut and rotated around enough to avoid what could have been a serious injury. That was scary, but he did get up. The ball was behind him. It would have been a spectacular catch if he got it, but wow, that could have been a scary, bad thing to happen. So 4th down, we got a yard on that drive, just on that 1-yard rush, and the punt team is back out. So it's heading back to Oklahoma State. Much better kick this time, driving Oklahoma State back to the 20 with a huge wrap up right at the 20, but the tackle couldn't finish it, and that had him backed up to maybe the 15, 14. And McCoy actually, had he had that, that would have been phenomenal. Timed it perfectly. But the Oklahoma State receiver, who was back on the punt return, ended up getting back, I believe, to about the 23, 24-yard line before he was gang tackled again. So a short return out of a play that really could have been blown up in the wrong direction. So that was a 58-yard punt, certainly overcoming the punt previously of 30 yards or 35 yards. Change of field position substantial, and that puts Oklahoma State 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. So bit of a stat check while we are on pause here. Shedeur Sanders with just a single incompletion so far, 12 of 13 for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also the top rusher with 5 carries, 16 yards. He's actually doing quite a bit more with his legs today, which is great. And Wester as the top receiver, 5 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. ESPN's win probabilities got the Buffs at 97.7. Total yards, 109 for the Buffs, 20 for Oklahoma State. So again, Oklahoma State is their offense is looking quite anemic so far. Just not able to get anything done. Colorado is mixing things up nicely on defense, steering clear a little bit from just always having the 4 down and linebackers to having some occasional blitzers moving into the game and catching, I think, the quarterback Smith off guard a little bit in those cases, and those have been pretty inaccurate throws. No real run game for either team at this point, with Gordon third being the leading rusher on Oklahoma State today with 2 carries and 3 yards. So, in a broad sense, neither team is blown it up quite yet on the ground. Colorado only has 25 rushing yards. Oklahoma State still trying to get out of the hole on some of those early sacks and miscue plays. They still have -5 total rushing yards. So, well, so far so good. And again, Travis Hunter one great first quarter with both a touchdown and an interception, which is exactly, I think, what he needed to show up doing. So hopefully for the rest of the game, he's going to be continuing to pad some stats both on the offensive and defensive sides of things, because anything that he can get to help his case for the Heisman Trophy, I think, is going to be he's going to be key in being able to push that successfully to the Heisman Trophy, which again would be the second Heisman Trophy in the history of Colorado, only behind Rashawn Salaam. So really nice pass by Smith, and Hunter had all over that. Almost looked as though he could have picked that off. They grabbed it simultaneously, but that's a completion. That's a big completion um, from Oklahoma State. Hunter had excellent position, and it looks like the Oklahoma State receiver just pulled it from him, although it might not actually be a catch. That hit the ground. Yeah, so it might not actually be considered. They still give it to him. No, incomplete. So it is second down and 10 from the 22. Smith comes back, hit as he delivers it. It's popped up. Oh, by number 23. He got his big mitt on it. Green the sec. No, Stoudemire. Stoudemire again gets his big mitt on it, pops it in the air. There's four Buffs, including Stoudemire, in this space to be able to grab it, and no one's able to come up with the ball that's tipped up in the air. That was a prime interception opportunity for the Buffs, and unfortunate for Oklahoma State, it didn't work out for the Buffs. Otherwise, another turnover on a short field, not a good thing. All right, so we got third down and 10. Colorado's coming, and they dropped the quarterback for a 2-yard loss. So it's going to be fourth down and 12, and likely that was Wade and Nwanku teaming in to get a second sack of the day, and now it's Oklahoma State going to be giving the ball back to Colorado's office, to Colorado's offense, probably in reasonably good field position. You take over at the 20, although their punter had a really great punt this last time out. So lined up for the punt, Oklahoma State kicks it. Looks like a really great punt. Driving. Oh, no, came up short and actually took a Colorado bounce back to the Oklahoma State side of the field. So down, it looks like at maybe the 49-yard line of Oklahoma State. So only a 29-yard kick. Got a high punt, and when it hit, it went backward. Oh, and then there is an illegal formation penalty on Oklahoma State on the punt, where more than 4 players were in the backfield. So not only does Colorado starting on Oklahoma State side of the field on the 49, they are also enforcing that penalty. So it is first down, 10 Buffs at the Oklahoma State 44-yard line, going left to right. So another short field, just 44 yards to pay dirt. Sanders lines up the team, drops back. It's a quick throw to Shepard on the outside, and he has stood up about the 39 is as far as he got. So that's going to be about a 5-yard gain. Be second down and 5 or 6, depending on where they give him forward progress. If they mark him down at the 40 or the 39. No, looks like second and 5. So they gave him the 5 at the 39, Oklahoma State 39-yard line. Colorado with the ball, and Colorado looking comfortable. Like Sanders only been under pressure a couple of times. Whoa! A snap, untimed snap where Sanders was looking over at the sideline, and they snapped the ball to him. It hit off him. And fortunately, the running back was in position to cover the ball up, but Sanders was getting ready to hike it. He looked over to the sideline, and the ball came, bounced off his hip. Number 29, Welch, fortunately, was right there to pick the ball up. So not clearly not all on the same page. Cleveland, the center, saying, "Yep, that was on me. That was on me." But ultimately, it was called a false start. No, 40-44. Yeah. So I think it was about a loss of 5. Whoa! Here comes a. Oh, they finally got him. So you got a blitzer, 18, Kabongo, coming in, essentially unevaded for the entire. No one blocked him, and gets Sanders for what looks to be a 15-yard loss. backing Colorado up into a 3rd down and 25, all the way back at their own 41. So if you recall, Colorado took over at the 49, got a penalty, and they actually took over at the 44 of Oklahoma State. And now they are marching backwards with the first sack of the day. Huge one by Oklahoma State. Now it's 3rd down, 25. Sanders steps in, and this ball goes nowhere. I think it's actually another loss of a yard out to Shepard. And that is going to be a 4th down and 25 or 26. Sanders a bit ginger as he's coming off the field, so looks like he may have got hit late on that or low. So not a good showing for the Buffs in that particular drive. So the last couple drives have looked pretty anemic by the Buffs. Punts out there for the 3rd time. It's at the Buffs 41-yard line. So he's looking to pin him deep again. Oklahoma State coming up. The ball dribbles out of bounds about the 12-yard line. So 9 plus 38. So 47-yard punt, 46-yard punt. They gave it to him at the 13. So here we go. Trying to keep them pinned deep. It would be wonderful to end the quarter and end the half on a high note, getting another score of some kind. But as noted, the last couple of drives have really not gone anywhere for the Buffs, or they have not gone anywhere for the Cowboys either. Punting back and forth, which, speaking of punting and something ironic, if you recall last week, the Kansas punter had at no point entered the game. Did not have to punt last week, and I think I had read after the fact he is from Australia, and his family came up to watch the game and watch him play. And of all games where you don't get to take the field, I mean, great for Kansas that they won, but clearly disappointing for that family that they didn't get to see their son play during the game. So Colorado just needed that one stop, a stop, to get that young man on the field, but he didn't make it on the field, so no big deal. All right, looking back at the Oregon State Boise State game, Anthony Hankerson from Oregon State just ran 83 yards for a touchdown, closing the gap for the Oregon State Beavers. It's now 14-6, pending the extra point. Now 14-7. So a big play toward the end of that half. That half, there's only 1 minute and 48 seconds left. Boise State on top, 14-7, but a big play by Oregon State to have the gap at this point, and that could be a huge game if Oregon State can keep this close and tie it up and actually knock Boise State off. Who knows who that's going to put in the driver's seat for the non-Power 4, Power 5 team, first one in. SMU, I think, is currently in the passenger seat for that one in second, although it looks like they'll likely have to play Miami for the ACC championship. Miami does come up here to beautiful, rainy and snowy Syracuse for their game this weekend. It would be wonderful to see Syracuse actually take down Miami, but we shall see how that works. Getting back to the game here, again, some highlights on Travis Hunter, having himself a game so far, and nearly a second interception on that last possession. Very, very close to having a second, and of course his touchdown is one of the differences. Handoff, 1st and 10. Buffs snuff it out immediately. No gain for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State now with the ball, going right to left for your viewing and listening pleasure. And 1st down and 10, they had 0-yard game. So it's a 2nd down and 10 from the 13-yard line, Oklahoma State's 13-yard line. They have a long way to go to be able to put something together. as we're approaching 6.5 minutes left. The quarterback hit as he gets rid of the ball. It does float out to number 1, Stribling, awkwardly, but he came back for it and ultimately ended up getting a gain of 3 on a bit of a wobbler. That's what happens when those quarterbacks get hit at the time of release. So now that leaves a 3rd down and 7 from, looks like, the 16-yard line for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's got it lined up. Colorado's got, looks like they're going to bring the house. They do back off a couple. It is a pass by Smith behind the intended, so the running back had come out of the backfield to the left, and Smith threw it a bit behind him. He had some running room out there. I think there was only 1 defender out there, plus he had some of his own blockers, and was unable to connect to Fields Jr., who had come out. So not a good day for Malachi Smith thus far. 5 of 16 for 28 yards and an interception. And the Oklahoma State kick team's back out with a big kick. Fair catch is called for by Wester, and it looks like Colorado will be 1st down and 10 on about the Buffalo 40-yard line, moving down. So if we could get something going here with the last 5:45 of the half, move down the field, get some of that early confidence and swagger back, that could be big. Going up 24-28, nothing. I think it's going to be huge in confidence for the Buffs, even being up 21-0. But a lot to play here still in the second quarter with about a little less than 6 minutes left. And getting things, looks like it took a while to get a ball out here. So Colorado 39 is where they start. Sanders throws a behind screen. Looks like almost a screen because it was a lateral of sorts. Wester took it up for a gain of about 5 and then got up and continued running because it did not necessarily look as though he was down. So getting back to Boise State SMU is 9th. So that SMU Miami game is going to be important. Colorado hands it off to Welch. Welch went nowhere, hit a wall, and then reversed fields and followed Sanders up for about a 6-yard gain. Although there is some laundry on the field, could be a holding call when these types of plays happen. Trying to sort it out here, but that was a defensive illegal substitution declined, and Colorado is going to go ahead and keep that play, which was a 5-yard run to Oklahoma State 49-yard line. So 1st down and 10. There we go. A couple of plays. We've already moved the chains one time. That becomes important. Sanders back. Throws it deep, and it is caught. It is caught by Isaiah Harge, 39 yards to the Oklahoma State 10. A beautiful, beautiful play where he threw it a rainbow over the top, one-on-one coverage on the outside. Harge had beaten his man, and he laid it right in. Sanders rolls out. Sanders is in a bad spot right now. Right, it looked like a design rollout to the left, and it got snuffed out quick. So he reversed course and got gobbled up, I think, by about 5 Oklahoma State players. So that will be a 2nd down and goal, probably from the 15 or 16 now instead of the 10. So Oklahoma State really had a jailbreak on that one and blew it up from the beginning, and Sanders really had nowhere to go from that. So Oh, even worse. It's up at the 18. So that was about an 8-yard loss. Sanders, oh, another jailbreak. Not even blocked at the line. 55, just let his man walk right through. That's 2 straight sacks for uh, for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That was Kendall Daniels attacking on another 5-yard loss to Sanders, but he had no chance there. The lineman didn't even lay a hand on him as he just broke through the interior of that line. And now, boy, we go from first and goal on the 10 to third and goal from the 23, 24-yard line. Sanders looking to step up. He is going to get dropped for a third straight time back to the 37-yard line. So a loss of 14, 3 straight sacks. You got to get rid of the ball, Sanders, on that one. You cannot take that 3 sacks. I don't care who you're looking for. Throw it out of the end zone. So now you're going from a potentially a 37-yard field goal to now a 50-plus yard field goal. And I don't know that our field goal kicker has, I don't think he has the leg to be able to hit a 50-yarder, but you certainly can't. I don't know what you're going to go with. 3 straight sacks. That is nuts. You don't see that very often, especially when you're first down and goal from the 10. And now you're at fourth and goal from the 37-yard line. Talk about going backwards. That is going to take away a substantial chunk. I bet Colorado's rush yards are now well into the negative as Colorado does take a timeout. I'm not sure what they're looking for, but yeah, Colorado is now -9 rushing after 27 yards of sacks. Not that they were having a day on the on the run, but that was a huge miss for Colorado, getting down to first and goal and then giving it all back up. The offense is still out on the field, fourth and goal from the 39. No, from the 34. Fourth and goal from the 34. And Oklahoma State continues to bring it. It was going for Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter had it behind his head the whole time. He had his man beat, but he could not bring that down. I think they were probably hoping a bit for a defensive pass interference call, but Hunter had to get his head around on that one. He had his man beat. That was actually a well delivered ball by Sanders, and that would have been a touchdown. But Oklahoma State takes over at the 34. Interception, punt, fumble, punt, 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 punt. That's been their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possessions this half. So not a lot going on for Oklahoma State, although they still have 2.5 minutes. First down and 10. That was would have been an incredible catch by their top receiver. Delivered it well over a kind of a crossing route. Oklahoma State has the ball. Looked like a bit of a crossing route over from the right side into the left, and wasn't able to pull it in one-handed. So it's second down and 10 for Oklahoma State. They have that lined up. Now it is another incomplete pass. They're going for a long ball. Again, likely could have had this the Buffs same receiver, number 1, could have had him beat. Although there is a flag on the play, as they are discussing what that flag is. Personal foul, illegal block below the waist on Oklahoma State. So again, and Oklahoma State's favored today as it relates to penalties. I think they have taken the lion's share on their side, and that one will be a 15-yarder, which will not help. So now we've got second down and 25 from the Oklahoma. similar trajectory where you have Oklahoma State going backwards and essentially mimicking what Colorado just did on theirs, where they lost 24 yards after having first and goal. So 19-yard line, Oklahoma State lines it up, slings it out, and looked like Shiloh Standers had that one pretty well covered as Presley went across the middle. So that's going to leave third and long for Oklahoma State. Third down, 25 from their own 19. Still 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, and they are Colorado looking to get the ball back. They've got one timeout left. If they play this right, they may not need to use it if it's a throw and an incompletion. But if it's anything that they can stop the clock on, get the ball back, get some points. So here we go. Third down, 25. Looks like Hunter took down Presley after maybe a gain of 6, and 2 minutes left. So that's the 2-minute warning. So that's a free timeout that Colorado was able to capitalize on. Fourth down and 19. Ball on the Oklahoma State 25. So Oklahoma State will punt for a 5th straight time. Back to the Buffs, giving the Buffs 2 minutes and a timeout to be able to push the ball up the field. See, this time maybe they can score. Looking back at the Oregon State Boise State game, Boise State took that last 2 minutes and they capitalized on it, and they went down the field and they got a touchdown back. So Oregon State had that big run to cut it from 14-0 to 14-7. Boise State answers quickly, and now 21-7 at halftime. Ashton Gianti with 21 carries and 106 yards and a touchdown in that first half. So Oregon State with that big run, their running back Hankerson has 4 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown as well. But this one seems pretty lopsided Boise State's way. 272 total yards, 19 first downs. Oregon State has 163 total yards, but remember, 83 of those were on one play, essentially half, and they only have 3 first downs. Boise State has held the ball nearly 21 minutes of that first half, with Oregon State about 9. So very similar to what we saw last week against Kansas and Colorado. Kansas, with that dominant run game, just ate the clock up, and I think they ended up about 40 minutes of possession, 41 minutes of possession for the entire game, and Colorado had 20 or the balance, slightly less than 20 for the rest of the game. And when you have the ball that much and you've got a horse like Gianti, you're doing okay. So it looks like that one could continue to go Boise State's way. So let's see what other. I wanted to look up Colorado women's basketball. And let's check out their schedule to see how they are faring this year. Always loved going to the women's basketball games when I was the mascot. Had a lot of really good memories of the games that we were able to go to. So let's look at the schedule. So far, the women's Buffs team are 6-1. They've won 4 in a row, with their only loss coming at Boise State, interestingly enough. So we were just talking about them. But recently, they have beaten Nevada, Southern, Utah State, and Utah Tech. They do have their game against Louisville tomorrow. Louisville is currently ranked 24, 23 in certain polls. And then Tennessee Tech, Southern Utah, Denver, and then they start opening the Big 12 competition against West Virginia, but that's not until December 21st. So when we look at the men's basketball, we'll make it to women's volleyball here in a minute. All right, so the punt is on its way. Big punt, fair caught about the 27 yards. Colorado will start their drive minute 53 from their own 27-yard line. Let's look at the schedule of the men's team. Men's team overall is 5-2. With their two losses coming against, first was Michigan State, and at the Maui Classic that's currently going. They did beat, as we noted earlier, UConn squeaked out a 73-72 win against UConn, and then Iowa State hung it on them. So they do have a game against Pacific coming up. Colorado State is on the 7th, so always a nice in-state rivalry matchup. They play South Dakota State, Bellarmine, and then they get back to opening up the Big 12 schedule with Iowa State again. So they know that what they're going to get with Iowa State. That game is December 30th. First play, Sanders looking to do kind of an option. It is busted up big time. And boy, they lost a whole bunch more yards there on whatever that play was. So Colorado is first 10 on 17. Now it's 2nd and 16 on the 11. I'm not sure what these last couple of plays have been. They've been trying to run some type of option play, and it just doesn't work. Quick slant to Wester, gets back to about, let's see, the 20. That's going to leave third down and about 5. Oklahoma State takes a timeout. Oh, it's 3rd and 8. They're down 8 yards to go. Again, some silly plays by the Buffs these last 2 drives. I can't harp on it enough. To go from 1st and 10 from the 10, essentially 1st and goal, to then being 4th and goal from the 34 on 3 straight sacks. And then we open up, we get the ball back with a minute 50 something left, reasonable field position, and try some broken option play where we end up putting ourselves at 2nd and 16. Not the best use of time. Plus we've already burned 35 seconds, 40 seconds of the remaining in the half, and now down to 3rd and 8 from where we at our 20-yard line. So 8 yards to gain to keep the drive going, and Colorado really needs to get something moving. They've got 34 total yards. Here's a big throw by Sanders. Miller almost comes down with an incredible catch. He was open all by himself. Ball was a bit long and high. Mistimed his jump and jumped too soon. Had he timed that right, he could have come up with a big play. That would have been a huge one. But here we are, a minute and 8 seconds left in the half, and Colorado's punting again from its own 20. So keep giving Oklahoma State those opportunities. Remember what I said. But Colorado has done nothing. I think there was just a stat up there that said that they've had 34 yards in the second quarter. Oklahoma State maybe has had 11, I think is what it showed. So neither team doing anything in the second quarter. This is some of the what plagues the Colorado Buffs. When they have good quarters, they can rack it up. When they have bad quarters, they don't do anything. They don't move the ball very well. So probably a good thing that we're playing a Oklahoma State team that's not up to snuff today. First down and 10, Oklahoma State. They do a quick out, gain a couple yards. A second down, 8 so to go. And again, the first couple positive plays that Oklahoma Their quarterback is not having a day. Um, Stands in the pocket, delivers what should have been a third interception by Travis Hunter. He to see how close this was. He You don't see him drop something like that very often. That was a clear interception, um, and probably one that he wants back for sure. But that's the second dropped interception that he's had. So Oklahoma State loads up right away and throws it down to about the 18-yard line, incomplete, and just like that, 4th and 8, Oklahoma State. So I think about 12 seconds went off the clock in those plays, and Oklahoma State offense is staying out on the field at 4th down and 7 on their 48. So it looks like they're gonna try and pick this up. If they don't get it, it's gonna give Colorado probably 35 seconds left on a short field. They've shown Colorado's shown the propensity that they can and want to go long. Um, they just haven't had one of those good. Oh, looks like Oklahoma State is going to run the clock down, and they're going to take the 5-yard penalty for delay of game. So it's instead of 4th and 8, it's going to be 4th and 13. Probably just a strategic move to begin with of seeing if they can get some free yards on a jump. Otherwise, they fully intended to back the Buffs up with a punt. So looks like 4th down and 12. Oklahoma State 43. The punt team back out for Oklahoma State. I think this is their 6th straight punt. 7 punts, if I recall correctly, in the first half for Oklahoma State, and just a very anemic offensive performance from Oklahoma State all day. 37 total yards. So big punt. Colorado's letting it go, angled it out of bounds, and we'll see where they mark it. They're going to mark it somewhere within the 15, on the 15-yard line. So it is 1st and 10, Colorado, 31 seconds left on their own 15-yard line. One timeout. I mean, you've got these rules that allow you to stop the clock if you can get first downs, and it'll be interesting to see if Colorado decides to really push it, or if they ultimately decide just to sit back, see what this first play is, and then cash in the half and go in 21-0. So they got it lined up at the 15. It is a handoff. Augustave, no, Welch. Welch actually breaks it for about 12 or 13 up to the 28. Clock stops with 25 seconds left. 1st down and 10. They've got it lined up quickly. Clock's running. Sanders drops back. Good throw. Who's he got here? Will Shepard gets probably a 25-yard gain. Ball's up just outside the 46 of Oklahoma State with 14 seconds left. Sanders has it. Dropping back. Better watch out. He's slippery. Who does he see? Just throw it away. There you go. 2 seconds left. That play took an awful lot of time for Sanders to look around and ultimately end up having an incompletion, which would have only been a 5-yard gain at best. So now here we are. 2nd and 10, 1 second left. It'll be a streak down the field type of route. Ball is currently sitting at Oklahoma State's 46-yard line. And you can only imagine that they're just going to go for the big one. Oklahoma State, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 has 5 players back. It is a handoff. Welch running up. Nope. This was Augustave. No. Who is this? Offerdahl. Offerdahl finishes the half with about a 12-yard scamper up the middle. 1st and 10 on the 35, but it doesn't matter. It's halftime. So couple good runs on that last drive there that actually probably gets Colorado out of the hole from a rushing standpoint. 179 total yards for the half. 171 of those are passing. 8 are rushing, and a lot of that was because Colorado Colorado did not plan the one of their drives at first and goal on the 10. If you recall, they ended up having fourth down and goal from the 34. So that doesn't help with the rush uh, stats. Total sacks, let's see, so far, I think Oklahoma State leading with 3. Colorado might have 2. Um, and that leads us to halftime. So that is where we will leave this. As usual, this brings us to break time. We'll give folks a couple moments to go out and do what you need to do. Grab a burger, grab yourself some extra turkey on this day after Thanksgiving, and we look forward to enjoying the second half. So we will meet you back here soon. All right, we are back. We are back. All right, so let's take a moment to look at some current games that are ongoing, and also yesterday there was a bit of an upset with Tulane and Memphis. Memphis, similar to what Kansas looked like last year. Their running back ran all over Tulane. Tulane had made it all the way up to 17th in the nation, 8-9-2, 8-2 record, and just got bounced at the end. Memphis is now 10-2. They won 34-24 going away, which which is good for them. It looks like there is a another game that's multiple games now that are going. I apologize for those who I hadn't been keeping some of these up, so just focused on that one game. But currently, you got again Oregon State, Boise State's currently 21-7 as it was at halftime. Boise State looks like they're driving. About we just do all. That's why, because we were just looking at top 25. Minnesota is playing Wisconsin. Always a good rivalry. And as I think, as we noted last week when we were talking about some of these rivalry games, the rivalry is of course Lehigh versus Lafayette. The game played against Yale and Harvard. And the second longest running, I think, in the highest division, the first longest running rivalry is between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Minnesota currently holding a 14-0 advantage on the Wisconsin Badgers. Minnesota 6-5 on the year. Wisconsin 5-6 on the year. Miami of Ohio up 14-5 in a baseball score against Bowling Green. Which is always good to see the safety sneak its way in there. Ball State trailing Ohio 27-7. It's going to be 28-7 here in a moment, assuming that they get their extra point. And Navy is behind in the third with about 11 minutes left. They are behind, trailing East Carolina 3-0. So clearly an offensive explosion in the Navy East Carolina game. 3-0 East Carolina. Would be good to have Navy pick up another win before they go into the Army Navy game. Army, as you know, and Navy both had phenomenal seasons this year, starting out 7-0 before I think Navy stumbled first. Army picked up its first loss last week against Notre Dame in a pretty one-sided game. But with the Army-Navy game coming up, an 8-4 Navy and a one-loss Army, I think it's that could be a really great game for those two programs. Later on, games following this group of games, we've got Mississippi State versus Ole Miss. So if you like cowbell, that's your game to turn into. Mississippi State really does bring cowbell to that game, and of course, in-state rivalry, long tradition there. You never know what's going to happen. Liberty takes on Sam Houston. Utah State, Colorado State. Colorado State actually having a good year this year, 7-4, 5-1 in the Mountain West. Texas State versus South Alabama. Stanford, San Jose State, and then that leads you into the primetime hours where Georgia Tech will take on Georgia. Georgia Tech's knocked off a couple of big teams this year already. I think they knocked off Miami, and my brain is freezing up here on who else that they knocked off. They opened but with a big win at Florida State, but of course Florida State clearly has not been what they hoped to be. They did pick up a loss against Syracuse, happened to be at that game, so that was I'm sure it was the Todd effect that pushed Syracuse on to victory. But they did beat Miami, and so this would be a big one for them if they could take down Georgia. You never know what's going to happen again in these in-state rivalry games. Two additional games in prime time tonight are going to be Nebraska, Iowa. Nebraska bowl eligible, becoming bowl eligible last week. They are 6-5. Iowa 7-4. So good. Would be good for either of those teams to pick up one last win, and then Utah takes on UCF tomorrow. Some big games. Just gonna turn the page for the Saturday games. Saturday games, of course, headlined by Michigan, Ohio State. I know that Ohio State's number 2 in the nation. Michigan not having a good year after winning the national championship at 6-5. Throw it out the window. Although the talent on Ohio State is pretty ridiculous. Michigan, similar to Colorado, a beneficiary of kind of some deep pockets nil push to flip the number 1 quarterback from Georgia. No, I'm sorry, from LSU to Michigan next year, and that will help that program. For those of you who remember early games in the year from Michigan, where they actually had like 45 yards passing because their quarterbacks were mostly in there, not pocket passers at all, and generally we're put into the games doing kind of the direct center snap to that individual, the wildcat formations, and being able to run from there. So it's caught up with them to go from what they had last year and the amount of talent that Michigan had last year to this year. Clearly, it's quite a bit different, and hoping to bounce back. You got Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt having a good year, had a great year. They made it in the top 25, but they will be. They are now 6-5. South Carolina, Clemson, always that in-state rivalry. Auburn, Alabama. I mean, this is the weekend if you like college football to be able to see some games and some very, very good games. Seeing what else is down the list here. Army finishes its year against Texas, San Antonio. Eastern Michigan not having a bad year. I only bring up Eastern Michigan because we spent about 5-6 years in Michigan, and my wife was a professor there to Eastern Michigan for a little while before now returning here to Syracuse. Pitt BC, always a good game. Notre Dame USC, always a good game. I know USC's been down a bit this year, and they're what people are deeming the welcome to the Big Ten caliber instead of the Pac-12 caliber teams. Of course, Miami plays Syracuse at the Dome tomorrow, so that'll be a fabulous challenge for Syracuse. Syracuse's quarterback, Kyle McCord, who was Ohio State's starting quarterback last year. He is sitting at 3,946 yards this year, 26 TDs, 12 interceptions. So having a phenomenal year as a quarterback and having a lot of fun out there. So Syracuse, Miami, big game. Alabama, Auburn, we already talked about. Arizona State, Arizona. The eyes of this group will all be on that in our national audience that we currently have out there. And that should, let's see, wrap things up until the 7 o'clock hour. Purdue, Indiana, Florida, Florida State, Oklahoma, LSU. Be a good game, especially since Oklahoma knocked off Alabama last week. Washington takes on Oregon. Texas takes on Texas A&M, which is a great game. K-State takes on Iowa State. We as a Buffalo Nation, really need K-State to take this one. 8-3 K-State versus 9-2 Iowa State. And then you end the night with the nightcapper, New Mexico at Hawaii. So if you're up that late, you can either go for the Rainbows to take it, or the Lobos. It depends on who your team is. So lots of good games for this weekend. Then you move on to the NFL. NFL has a great slate in place as well. As it currently stands, Boise State, Oregon, Miami, and Texas, the 4 teams that would fall into the bye weeks, with everyone else fighting it out. Colorado, you make it as the number 12 seed, or you sneak in, you may be playing a Georgia or an Ohio State in your first game. So hopeful that they're going to be able to get some help to get into the Big 12 championship game, and could be against Iowa State, could be against BYU if the cards fall the right way. But the prize of that is, hey, you get yourself into the college football playoff, but you're not going to be playing a cupcake for sure. And I think that right now they have the number 12 seed playing Ohio State, who's 5, and that in itself is going to be a heck of a challenge for them to be able to, for whatever team has to play Ohio State to make it to the second round. So Boise State in a good spot right now, sitting in taking that last bye, the automatic bye into their into essentially kind of the quarterfinals of that tournament. So speaking of Oregon State, Boise State, I think the third quarter is well underway. 10 minutes, 27 seconds left. Boise State again driving. 8 plays, 39 yards, with much of that coming from their workhorse running back Jonty, who continues to run up to 116 yards at this point in the day. But getting back to the Buffs, some of the stats here for the Buffs. Sanders having himself a pretty good day, 18 of 22, 171, and 2 touchdowns. On the opposite side, his counterpart, Malachi Smith, 7 of 22 for 37 yards and an interception. So about a 33% completion percentage. Not having a good day. He that one interception did go to Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter actually had his hands on 2 additional, and then late in the half there, the second additional was one he would probably catch 99 out of 100 times, and in this case, he let it pass through him. Shepard is the leading receiver for the Buffs for 48 yards, and looking to see not a dominant first half at all. The first quarter went our way due to a couple turnovers and some short fields. We cashed them in quick for some touchdowns. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and we really did nothing in the second quarter. Really dried everything up and had a chance to put some more points on the board with a 1st and goal at the 10, and we know how that ended up. We didn't get any points at all out of that one, and again, I feel like we're quite lucky that we are playing Oklahoma State today. Oklahoma State just can't get anything going. They have 30 total yards in the first half, and that's not going to get it done against anybody. But certainly, it's important for Colorado to keep moving the ball and moving the ball efficiently in the second half. They will be receiving the kick. Ralphie's making the run. People's hats are falling off, and now you got to get Ralphie sprinting here on TV, because that is the best part, is when Ralphie is dragging all these Wrangler handlers behind him straight into the trailer. And having been in that trailer before, it's a scary place when you got a buffalo that big running at you that fast in there. And I think they had a really nice view of that when Deion Sanders took the job. He hung out in there as Ralphie was running in there, and not as fast in that full sprint. But all right, lining up here for the second half. Oklahoma State kicking the ball off from left to right, again in their white uniforms, and we've got Colorado picking it up from right to left in their black uniforms. We've got Cloudy Shadow weighing in. Hey, we hear you out there, Cloudy Shadow. And if this is the Cloudy Shadow, I think you should be seeing this live and enjoying what you're seeing in person today. So hopefully you're enjoying the game, and the weather seems like it's warming up a little bit. Still a little chilly there, but good game so far. Got to clean a lot of stuff up from the second quarter. And that's the hope. Tips for the second half is 5 sacks allowed. Yeah, that seems right. And Sanders 9 rush, minus 23 yards, and most of that is because of those sacks. So Colorado opens up, going right to left with a rush play, gaining a yard right up the middle. That was a handoff to Hayden. So Hayden takes the first play of the second half, runs for a yard. It is now 2nd and 9 on the 26-yard line. Sanders looks like changing the play up. Hayden switches to the other side, and now Hayden's heading out to the sideline. It's a quick release to him, but the ball was thrown short. So would have been a one-on-one situation with Hayden on the outside. The ball was thrown short by Sanders. Hayden couldn't pick it up, and we're very quickly 39 seconds into the second and into the third quarter, facing a 3rd down and 9, and really need to get something moving. So here we go, 3rd and 9. Sanders throwing it out. It looks like it's an interception, and Oklahoma State is running it back all the way to the touchdown. Lots of people stopped on the play. Not exactly sure what's going on. There are flags on the field. Let's see what the call is. Offside defense. So that entire sequence of an interception by Oklahoma State is wiped out by a defensive penalty, offsides. We will play 3rd down again, 3rd down and 4 from the Colorado 31. So I think that a number of times Oklahoma State's really ran into some penalty problems at some inopportune times that could have turned it. Sanders steps back on this 3rd and 4, whips it out. Wester is sprinting down the sideline. This is a huge gain, and Wester high stepping into the end zone with a 31, so 59-yard, 69-yard touchdown. So a good start to the second half with a Colorado going about 4 plays, overcoming the potential interception with Oklahoma State being offsides on that play, which gives them a second life. They took advantage with 1 play from that point and dropped a 69-yard touchdown to Wester.
Great.
Well, hello. Joined here
in studio
by my lovely wife, Gina.
Hi.
Hello.
So how's it been?
It's good. It's good. We got something going in the second half here. It was 21-0 in the first half, or first quarter.
Wow.
And then we did nothing for the second quarter.
That's not so good.
Oklahoma State has done nothing as well. And now we just open it up with another touchdown. So
nice.
It's now 28-0.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyone join you?
A couple people, yeah.
Yeah.
And Cloud of Shadow. I think Ryan even said hi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But did anyone live guest with you?
Yeah, we're still waiting. I promised all these secret guests, and so far we have 0. So far, you're the first.
I came in.
You're the first.
How about I eat something and then I jump on?
That sounds good.
Okay.
We'll be waiting. Yeah, I thought about that at halftime. That big promise of having some live special guests since Greg wasn't able to join it today, and so far we've thrown the donut your way. But 57 seconds there, Buffs had the ball after the kickoff and cashed it in with a long pass. So a good start to be able to at least let's get some rhythm back. I think they Buffs had a couple good run plays at the end of the half there where they broke them for 12, 13 yards. It would be wonderful to see some of those again in the second half here. So long kick. Looks like it's going to come up short of the goal line. Oklahoma State running it back and gets crushed about the 12-yard line with it. The ball came free. That was a big, big hit. Ball came free, but Oklahoma State Yeah, that's a fumble. Oklahoma State fell on it. And we're lucky to keep that ball because it was that was a big hit, knocked the ball straight out, and fortunate for Oklahoma State to keep the ball. All right, so Oklahoma State takes over, 1st and 10. Looks like at the 17-yard line, they hand it off. Or that might have been a keeper. I think they had everyone fooled, even those on the camera, to follow the running back. The quarterback keeper meets 6 on that one. So it is 2nd down and 4. And Colorado's got to keep the pressure on here to really shut things down. It is a handoff this time. Oklahoma State runs out, gets up to about 30. Shiloh Sanders brings the wood, and knocks him down, but again is big on tackling with his shoulders and not necessarily with his wrapping up, and that's got him in trouble a number of weeks, especially against good running teams. Kansas State, Kansas, both of those come to mind where he lowers the boom and can't seem to, in those instances where those running backs just bounce off him or spin move off him and keep going. Yeah, like I think one thing that Shiloh Sanders really needs to figure out is making sure he's wrapping up at the same time that he is laying the wood on these guys. Back, looks like quarterback ran backwards on this 2nd and 10 and stepped forward in the pocket. Oklahoma State quarterback stepped forward in the pocket and just lost control of the ball, dropped the ball, and Colorado has recovered it. That is, you don't see that very often. He dropped back his good 5 yards, 5-yard drop back, and as he was stepping up, just lost the handle. We'll get to see here on the replay. He's got the ball. Oh, no, he never really had it in his hand. He had it in his hand, but never really had it set where he needed to. And it just kind of squirmed out. Colorado jumped on it, and here we go. Oh, and that was a direct snap to Gordon instead of it being on Smith. So nothing going Oklahoma State's way today. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So that was Nwanko recovered. It is 1st down and 10 Buffs on Oklahoma State's 25-yard line. Handoff, first play, rushes outside, and we've got Harge again running for a good 4 or 5 yards there. So that'll bring us 2nd and 5 from the 21, from Oklahoma State's 21, Colorado with the ball. So these turnovers from Oklahoma State, gifts to the Buffs for sure, because they continue to give them short fields. Handoff to Harge, who instead of going left this time goes right, stumbles for about 3. So that should leave a short 3rd down and 2 coming up here for the Buffs from Oklahoma State's 17-yard line. So opening up with a bit of running. I think that's 2 run plays in a row that have been positive yards. Have been hard for the Buffs to get all year long. So nice to see the Buffs running the ball. Welch is in the game, a late substitution, and it's going to be too many men on the field. Sanders gets it to Hunter. Hunter runs out about the 8-yard line. There is a flag on the field, but that's going to be an illegal substitution from the Buffs. And so they're going to likely decline that, and it'll ultimately be 1st down and goal at the 8-yard line with too many players and offsides. So, got a shout out from Gina. Gina, not sure how to join via video. Let me see if I can figure out how to send this to you very, very quickly. And let's see if I can get it to you. Is this it? No. I think it's this one. All right, so 1st down and goal at the 8. Sanders throws, Travis Hunter, touchdown. So there's 2 touchdowns for Hunter today. Oh no, don't want to do that. Let me go back here. And I want to copy this, but I need to figure out how to do that. So good play by Hunter to be able to, getting down to the 8, and then a quick throw to Hunter, gets a second touchdown of the day. And just like that, 4 minutes, 10 seconds into the second half, the Buffs, similar to the first quarter, have piled on 2 quick touchdowns. It's now 35-0. And trying to figure out how to send a link here. I bet I can do this. Add. I got you, Gina. We're gonna add Gina to this, and Gina will be able to join us now. All right. So now we got Gina, and perhaps she'll be jumping into us, and as promised, perhaps a guest will break up the monotony of you having to listen to me talk through this and in my and seeing my mug all by myself. All right, I think we did it. All right, cool. So, all right, so let's go back and let's look at some current scores. Oh, we got a special guest coming in. Not Gina, it's Emma. Well, hello there.
Hi.
How we doing?
Doing good.
Good. Just in time for the Buffs just went up 35-0.
35-0? Okay, so that's like a washout game. Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah. Let me see. Hi.
Oh, we got multiple people. Hello.
Yeah, we got the whole crew.
That's good. Well, we're waiting for you to drop some sports knowledge on us.
Well, I gotta turn it on. What? I just got home. What's the channel?
It's on ABC or ESPN Plus.
Do we have ES? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, I just clicked on YouTube. We're pausing. We're gonna get there.
All good. For those who are following the Boise State game, Boise State up 24-10. So that one looks as though Boise State may cement its place. Minnesota now up 21-6 on Wisconsin. Miami of Ohio still in a baseball game at 14-5 against Bowling Green. And Navy is actually now ahead 7-3 against East Carolina. So again, we were talking about how wonderful it would be for Navy to finish the season 8-3, take on Army, who may very well go into that Army-Navy game 10-1.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Patriot League represent. I mean, I think they're in a different league than the Patriot League, but.
So yes, this is my daughter Emma, who is the swimmer at Lafayette College. So
Yes.
We talked last week at length about some of the key rivalries that are out there in college football, and the one called the rivalry is the Lehigh Lafayette game, not to be used as the game, which is the game is Yale Harvard, and then we were talking about the longest running high division game series is Minnesota Wisconsin, and Minnesota is currently being played right now with Minnesota up 21-7.
How do you feel about the Bronco Browns game that's happening on Monday? How do you think they're both doing?
I hope that the Broncos can do this. But getting back to the game here, boy, that hard count from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has the ball, first down and 10 on the 20-yard line, and their quarterback Smith pulled another hard cadence, pulled off multiple members of the Buffs, had a free play, and ultimately they threw it down the field for what looked like to be a good completion, but it does look like 1st and 5, so the penalty will stand instead of the completion. What do you think the outcome of this game is going to be?
Oh, I think the Buffs are going to take it.
All right,
35-0. That would be a miracle if Oklahoma State could take it back.
Agreed. Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah,
Quarterback keeper that time. Smith takes it out to the right-hand side, makes it up just across the line, 1st and 10. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line for Oklahoma State, who is going left to right on the screen, or if you're listening on your radio, a nice underside screen to number 0, who actually runs it out about 19 yards to the Oklahoma State 49-yard line. So some good positive plays from Oklahoma State here opening the second half. After that fumble, they certainly needed it with about 35 yards of total offense in the first half.
Yeah.
Quick throw outside to number 80 for a gain of about 4 or 5.
Just tackled on the line.
Yep. And no gain. Back to the running game for Oklahoma State, and no gain. So that is going to leave itself as a 3rd and 7. You got the live commentary in the background there.
Oh, I do. Do you want me to mute it?
Everybody can hear it. Oh, so 3rd down, quick throw out. Yeah, it comes up about a yard short.
Let me mute that.
About a yard short. So 4th down, Oklahoma State at the Buffs 41-yard line. And my guess is in this position, they have nothing to lose and likely are just going to go for it. You think it's going to be a quarterback sneak? What do you think? What's your intuition tell you here, Hard to say. Everything went down. Everything is just cycling now. So the outcome of that play, it seems as though they did not make it. Is that correct? And Colorado now has the ball. All right. Well, an incomplete pass on a 4th and 1 at the Colorado 43-yard line results in Colorado taking over on downs. Which I'm going to reload the TV here since now that was paused for a little while.
Yeah, it seems like my TV is a little bit ahead of yours.
Yeah. Well, as we're on a break here, Boise State has added another field goal, 27-10. Is this entertaining for you, huh?
Yeah. I'm not following it as fast as you are, so I'm like, oh, that sounds good.
And Navy has actually. Let me check out the Navy game. End of the 3rd quarter, Navy went from down 3-0 to now up 14-3.
Yeah.
So a couple of quick touchdowns by Navy. And East Carolina now has the ball again. So Navy showing up against East Carolina. Oh, you
Mom,
got
you want to come join too?
noisy friends.
I'm just trying to get the dog. Yeah, we do have some
I'll
chatty
let you.
dogs.
Yeah, you can jump off whenever you need.
I was just gonna switch with Mom so I could get some food.
Oh, okay.
Give me a second. Yeah, she's just feeding the doggos though.
Sounds like a plan.
Dogs.
Did the Lafayette Lehigh meet ever load?
Oh, I haven't checked.
No, I haven't either.
Can you check?
Let me check really quick here. Since we're on commercial, it has not.
You think it's ever gonna load?
It would seem like they would have it up by now, 2 weeks out or a week out, but
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it.
not so much. All right. Let's go back to the ABC broadcast. Still on.
Mom's coming in. I'm getting some food.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. Well, hello, Miss Gina.
Oh, this is terrible. We shouldn't be backlit like this. That's like broadcast 101.
I didn't
Let me
choose.
set those blinds. I know.
I didn't choose the location. All right, so the Buffs back with the ball. Sanders about to get gobbled up. He gets rid of it.
I think he sent it. I got it.
Did you? Oh yeah, here we go. All right, I'm gonna have Mom join, okay?
Yeah, gets a nice 12-yard gain to Welch. Moves the ball forward. So now on the Oklahoma State side of the field. Lines up quickly. Oklahoma State 45. Quick handoff. Oh, big hole for Welch. Gets another 12, 13 yards. That's going to be another first down and 10, maybe about the Oklahoma State 33 or 30-yard line. Nice view of Coach Sanders walking out. Jimmy Horn Jr. On Senior Day. Quick throw out to is that Shepard? No. Yeah, to Shepard for another 12, 13 yards. So 3 plays gobbling up like 12, 13 yards play. The Buffs are moving it. They are driving it. This was the first quarter Buffs. They were able to really on their own way. Quick throw outside Travis Hunter down to the 10 and slip down about the 8-yard line. So the Buffs in business again. Looking to pile on and increase the score up to 42-0. What knowledge do you have to drop on us, Gene? Every guest has to bring something. You can't just sit and stare at the screen.
Well, you were talking. They're gonna snap here and throw the ball again.
That's good. What was the outcome?
That was a touchdown by Wester.
Wester wide open, sneaks it across. Like big day for Sanders and crew against Oklahoma State again.
0-41. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been quite a show so far. I think that is.
Did you set your hair?
Oh, they're going to bring it back. There was a flag, a pass interference call on Shepard. You got a lot going on in the background there.
I know. Well, Gabby is on FaceTime over there, and Nan's commenting on how long and beautiful her hair is. So.
Oh, okay. So that penalty made sense. Shepard actually had what they did not deem a natural pick, and ultimately that's what led to Wester being so wide open. His man was essentially eliminated. So no points on the board for Colorado there. It's first and goal from the 21. So we've seen this before. First and goal inside the 10, and then we go backwards. Sanders delivers a bullet to Travis Hunter, who catches it about the 8 and then retreats to go the other direction and gets gobbled up by a very large man, about the 12. So it looks like they got about half that back, just based on Hunter going backwards. But now continues to be second and goal at the 11. Handoff inside, gaining some yards. They push him up to about the 7. That'll leave a third and goal from the 7.
You know what time it is, don't you?
What time is it?
It's prime napping time. We're watching football. That is my job. My job is to go to sleep when we watch football.
Perfect. Well, hey, you can jump in, jump out anytime you need to take a nap. Third down and goal. This is a big third down and goal. Buffs have the ball at the 7-yard line. You got a one-on-one up top. Sanders drops back. He's being very patient. He's now getting sacked. And not the ending that you want to have first and goal from the 8, and now you have fourth and goal at the 16. So likely they will send out the punt or the field goal team here. I think that was the 6th sack that Sanders has taken today, which is not good. This one was a coverage sack, although he did look as though he had some options, just not the options he was interested in. So there you go. We've got Mata.
Oh, there you go. And it's good.
All right, there you go. So you heard it first. It is now 38-0. So clearly a one-sided game. Lots to clean up on the offensive line, I think, for the Buffs if they're taking something away when you give up 6 sacks and we are still have another quarter and a half to go.
It's a lot to go.
It's a lot to go. What was for lunch? What did you eat?
Leftovers. I had a little bit of turkey. I had some mashed potatoes, cranberry, and a sweet potato.
There you go.
Well, but I put some tahini on my sweet potato because I love how that tastes. So.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Love it. Are you hungry?
I had a sandwich, about 3 hours ago. So.
We're warming up the eggplant. That's what's for dinner tonight.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
I don't know. Ask Nani.
That's good.
You want me to bring you some snacks?
The snacks are always good. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Oh, I went and I got some chips and all different things. So I'll bring you some snacks. All right.
I do appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's Gina.
I'm gonna give you to Nan. Nan's gonna chat now.
Jay, she's got to drop some football knowledge on us. You can't just be a guest without.
She will.
My dad's doing his podcast.
All right, there's Nan. You're live.
Hey, Nan.
Everybody can see you, Nan.
Hey, when I promise special guests, we've got straight from Rome. We've got Nan. Nan, you got to drop some football knowledge on us. What do you got?
What football knowledge do you have?
None.
You got.
I just know that you got to go 10 yards and to get another 10 yards.
Yes.
That's pretty much how you play.
That's yeah. And what else? That's it?
What else?
What
else do you know?
If you have the football and you run over the goalie, you get points.
Yeah.
If you kick the football over that fence or whatever it is, you get some more points.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. So we've got if you run over the goalie, you get points, and if you kick it over the fence, you get points.
Right. Now Emma's the real pro. She's going to talk to you.
All right.
I'm eating my dildo.
I'll let you guys sign off so you guys can finish eating. All right.
You should ask Avery if she wants to join.
Well, I can't do very much while I'm here doing this live, so I'll leave it to you guys.
Spinach and artichoke. All right, we'll see you.
All right, thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Honey or sugar?
Well, there you had it. The promise of guests that you would never likely hope to see. You got to see them here first. Could have been anyone. Could have been a celebrity. I was pretty vague there at the beginning, and clearly we had folks upstairs who were enjoying a post-shopping lunch. So getting back to the game, 4:31 left in the third quarter. It is now 38-0. So the Buffs have scored 17 points here in the third quarter. 21 points came in the first quarter. And then they went dry in the second quarter. So kicking off from right to left for Oklahoma State. Looks like they're going to let it go this time and not run it out. So Oklahoma State will go ahead and take it at the 25-yard line. Oklahoma State has not had a good day as they're flashing up kind of the Final Four here in the Big 12. Arizona State taking on Arizona. BYU takes on Houston. Kansas State and Iowa State is an important game. All of these again that will be played tomorrow.
What is a game without chips?
Yes, a chip. Got some a delivery of some chips and tzatziki. Thank you. There we go. Now we got a refresh. So second down, Oklahoma State. It looks as though they had a short pass for 6 yards to their top wideout Presley. Oklahoma State did. Continuing to hope to move the ball for the first time today in a sustained way. Almost an offsides with that cadence call again from Smith. Got one of the Buffs to jump, but he didn't actually touch anyone and was able to get back on the line. So quick handoff, gobbled up in the backfield, although he did, running back number 3 did push forward for about a 1-yard gain. So that's going to leave a short third down. And third down, we'll call it in 3. Kind of have a quick chip here. From Oklahoma State 32, Oklahoma State lines up in the gun. They got 4 wideouts plus their running back is split out. Looks like a fifth. Little pressure. Colorado steps up, knocks it down, and almost Sanders almost had an opportunity for a deflection interception, but a lot happened very quickly there. So 4th and 3. Oklahoma State, 3 minutes, 4 seconds left in the third quarter, and Oklahoma State is sending out their punt team. So Oklahoma State all day today, lots and lots of punts. And if they haven't punted it, they have turned the ball over. So it has been not a good day for Oklahoma State. Looks like we're calling for a fair catch about the 22. That's where Colorado will take over. Getting back to look while they change fields here. Let's look at some of the other scores. Navy is now up, scored again. Looks like it's assuming that the extra point is good. It'll be 21-6 Navy over East Carolina with about 10 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Bowling Green did get another touchdown, 21-12 against Miami. And flashing up the stats for Travis Hunter today, 8 receptions, 2 touchdowns, an interception. It is a handoff on the 1st and 10 play by Welch. Welch gains about 3 yards to the outside, running to his left. So that'll likely leave a 2nd and 7. It's good to see that the Buffs are actually running the ball a little bit here. 2nd and 7 from the 25. And establishing a bit of a ground presence, albeit says Oklahoma State. All right, Sanders fake handoff, hits the crossing route to Wester. Wester ends up getting about 7-8 yards, maybe 10 yards, up to the 37, which keeps the ball moving. Quick run out with Shepard sprinting out to the right, and Sanders was rolling out to his right, and Shepard was running away from him. Gets a couple yards there. 2nd down and 5. Quick 5-yard gain here at about the 42. And Colorado really being as efficient as they can. Welch stood out, broke out from the backfield, gets about 4 yards, will come up about a yard short. Depends on the spot. Oh, they may give him forward progress. They may need to measure this. That does look like it could be a 1st down because he certainly looked like he broke the plane for the 1st down and then retreated a little bit. They did give him a 1st down. It's 1st down and 10. Colorado 47.5-yard line. Sanders has everyone lined up. Here comes the Cowboys. Lots of time. Sanders going deep down to Wester, and that is a completion. Down to, didn't see where that was, but it is inside the red zone, maybe about the 17-yard line. Nice pitch and catch. The defender was on Wester. Wester turned around in time, came down with it right as he was falling out of bounds. So great ball on the Oklahoma State 19. Sanders steps up, gets a quick one to Hayden. Quick 6-yard strike to Hayden down to the 13. 2nd and 4. 17 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. Looks like they are in no rush to get a playoff, although they are lined up now with 7 seconds, 6 seconds. Are they going to get it? Yeah, they get it. One last play. Here comes, going for the slant to Hunter. Tipped up in the air, and it looks like an Oklahoma State interception, and it might have been dropped. Nope, it was an interception. So Sanders goes back to the well, tries the inside slant to Hunter, and it is knocked in the air, and the Oklahoma State player corrals it before it hits the ground. So turnover deep in the red zone, inside the 10, or around the 10-yard line. First interception of the day for Sanders, who at that point had a very, very accurate day. He up to that point, he was 30 for 35, 368 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now he has the 1 interception to add on to that as well. Wester having himself the best day of all the receivers. 10 receptions, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's all one-way traffic right now. Colorado, 396 yards. 23 1st downs. Oklahoma State 77 total yards, 4 1st downs, 3 turnovers. It has been it's been a rough go for Oklahoma State today, and Colorado is looking to cash it in there for some additional points, and not to be. So perhaps that's a turning point for something positive for Oklahoma State. And they can do something with this. 1st and 10 at the 8, their own 8-yard line. Oklahoma State will resume the ball. Meanwhile, getting back to the Boise State-Oregon State game, Boise State was up 27-10. Oregon State has scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, so it is now 27-18 with Boise State driving. A long drive for them, 10 plays, 75 yards so far that they're pushing forward. Gianti is up to 185 yards rushing. And in looking at the rest of the college football world, Minnesota's still up on Wisconsin 21-7. Navy, as we noted, up 21-6 on East Carolina with about just under 9 minutes left in that game. So a good game here. The Buffs have really turned on the gas here in the second half. I think we were less than 200 yards in the first half. We probably have over 200 yards just in the third quarter by itself. When we look at kind of the team stats and the box score at this point, in no comparison on the quarterbacks, running backs, we still only have 17 total yards. No, I'm sorry, we're up to 28 total yards of rushing, but we have Shedeur Sanders, who's been sacked 6 times, I think, has lost 31 yards in those sacks. Receiving, Wester is clearly the number 1 with Will Shepard, number 2 at 67 yards. Travis Hunter has 8 receptions for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defense, just wanted to find out the number of sacks. Yes, 6 sacks for Oklahoma State Cowboys. So that's a bright spot for the Cowboys today. 6 sacks. Colorado does have 2 sacks, which adds to their total. Hunter does have the 1 interception, which is certainly fabulous for his case in continuing to be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. And our kicker Mata has kicked 5 extra points in a field goal. So tough that. Oh, and here Oklahoma State first play after the break here. Smith mishandles the ball. 1st and 10 on the 8. Mishandles it. It ends up underneath him as he lays on top of it, and they go backwards. Oklahoma State does. So now it is 2nd down and 16 from the 2. Colorado bringing some pressure. Smith going deep. It is picked off by number 8 for a pick 6. Oh, and flagged for a celebration penalty. Probably unnecessary at this point when you are up now 45-0 or 44-0. But McKinney, that was an easy one. It was a long throw across to the outside right-hand side. Didn't make it to the receiver with the height necessary. An easy pick for McKinney, who ran it in from, inside the 15-yard line, and easy pick 6. Picks it off about the 13. Got a convoy ahead of him, in for a pick 6 touchdown. Celebrates, looking like he's peeing on a fire hydrant, which drew a flag, which it should. I mean, come on now. If you're gonna get flagged for something, make something more creative. So 44-0. Pending the extra point, 45-0. I'll be interested to see. Sanders isn't known for shutting things down. Still 14 minutes and 25 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and not sure what I think Hunter was trying to make sure he wasn't going to do something horrible, and he got flagged for it. So all good. 45-0, all smiles on the Buff sidelines today, for sure. Defense got another turnover that gives 2 interceptions for Smith, who is 11 for 29 on the day for 70 yards. Similar to Isaac Wilson when we played Utah, just not having a day, although he did bust out in the second half for a couple big drives and really padded his stats for that. So all Colorado today, and this is what we needed. But again, we talked at the top of the show on kind of what the different. See if I can bring that back up. The different scenarios that are going to be important for Colorado, for them to be able to win, and we perhaps we can take a moment to make it. I'm sorry, to the Big 12 championship game. So let's wait for this kickoff to happen, and then we can kind of talk through this. Going to be a returnable ball with a 15-yard penalty. Oklahoma State fields it about their 12. Oh, and then their returner gets buried about the 30. Straight on, turned to his left to meet a large man named McCoy, who crunched him. That was a big, big hit. But getting back to what does Colorado need? Here's the three scenarios that gets Colorado in to the Big 12 championship game with that loss last week. Colorado needs a win, so let's go ahead and check that off the box at 45-0. And losses by 2 of the 3 other tied teams. So they are either need Arizona State, BYU, or Iowa State. 2 of those 3 need to lose. I'm hoping Kansas State can really take it the distance and be able to beat Iowa State. BYU is playing Houston, who, as we noted, is not a powerhouse in being able to roll up yardage. And Arizona State plays in an inferior Arizona team, but it is a rivalry game. So getting back to the game, Green the third just pulled down a sack. I think that's Colorado's 3rd sack of the game. Actually, it'll be probably the 4th sack of the game because the mishandled ball down at the 8 in the last series by the quarterback likely was considered a sack since the quarterback was dropped for a 6-yard loss. So 3rd down, 16 currently. And we'll get back to the scenarios here in a moment. 3rd down, 16 from the 24. And it's a short, underthrown ball back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like a screenplay getting set up. Some clear frustrations on the Cowboys side of nothing going right. So 4th down, 16. And the Buffs will be getting the ball back again. All right. Colorado. As we discussed, Colorado's losses to Kansas and Kansas State do not help them in the tiebreaker category, which is the second tiebreaker in the kind of the wonky rules that the Big 12 threw up, likely not expecting that they were going to have 4 teams tied in a conference battle going into the last week. Harge takes the fair catch. I don't know whether that's going to be the 35, 45-yard line, something like that. So Colorado will take over the ball with a bit of a short field again. If Arizona State, Colorado, and Iowa State win and BYU loses, and this gets us back to the 4, 5, 6 different scenarios, and Texas Tech beats West Virginia, and Baylor beats Kansas. Let's see. Beats West Virginia, and Baylor beats, I know Kansas State doesn't play Baylor, so this is a mismatch, and Cincinnati beats TCU, then the Big 12 championship will be Colorado, Iowa State. So they need to have Texas Tech beat West Virginia, Baylor beat, I think, Kansas, and Cincinnati beating TCU as a contributing factor. None of that matters if 2 of either Arizona State, BYU, or Iowa State don't lose tomorrow.
Hi.
I can't eat while I'm doing this.
Why?
Because that's weird. So yeah, those are our scenarios for Colorado to go ahead and make it to the Big 12 championship game, but clearly an awful lot of help that they need from a number of different teams to be able to get there. Oregon State looks like they have the ball back and are driving. We're driving. And now they have 3rd and long in order to get back closer into the game. They need a 2-score game right now, down by 9, to have a chance to knock off Boise State and ruin Boise State's hope of getting into the playoff. Minnesota still up on Wisconsin 21-7. No change there. Miami of Ohio up on Bowling Green 21-12. Ball State still trailing Ohio 41-14, and Navy still ahead 30 or 21, but East Carolina has put some points, 10 points on the board in the fourth quarter. So Navy's up 21-13. That is the current rundown. It's getting back to the Buffs and looking at kind of where we are from a team stat perspective. Sanders, again, having an outstanding day, 30 of 36 for 368, 4 touchdowns, and then, of course, the recent interception. Welch, from a rushing perspective, we're up to 28 yards, but again, most of that is that Sanders and in all the sacks that he's taken is 30, 31 yards in the hole at this point. So, really closer to 60 yards, which isn't great to begin with. And just the one turnover. So Sanders playing a little around. We've got a screen or a running back flip pass just out of the backfield, which goes for a short gain to Offerdahl. Perhaps got a yard or two, so that'll leave 2nd and 8. Colorado with the ball. Going left to right here in the last quarter of the game. Quick outside flip to Hunter is knocked down at the line and brings up a quick 3rd and 9 here. You're just gonna watch me from there. Eating your chips and your crying dog. Yeah. Sorry, we got a special guest. The crying dog is here.
You want to have her sit with you?
Wanting some food. Well, you're gonna have to take that upstairs.
I'll take this upstairs. Go ahead.
So 3rd down and 9, lining up. I think crying dog may or may not stay down here. Likely follow the food, as all smart dogs do. Sanders drops back. He's getting flushed out. Goes out to his right. Lets it rip down to a completion to Hunter. Nice completion to Hunter for a 1st down. Really nice throw and catch. Hunter was covered there. Just elevated as the defender got turned around and got himself a what looks to be like a 30-yard gain on that one. Yeah, 31-yard gain down to Oklahoma State 37. Quick handoff to Offerdahl. No gain, but yeah, really great catch for Hunter over the top of that defender. So Hunter having himself a pretty sizable day at this point. So we got 2nd and 11 at Oklahoma State 37. Sanders gets the ball. Quick handoff. Nope, it's a fake. Fires it across on the slant to Wester. Wester probably gets another 12, 13 yards on that one, which is going to add to his total. He was already at 160 yards prior to this, so he's at 11 targets, 11 receptions, 171, and 2 touchdowns. Having himself a day. So Wester on one side, Hunter on the other. Hunter's almost at 100 yards and also has himself 2 touchdowns, I believe. Here's a long ball into the end zone, and Travis Hunter gets pulled down and still somehow comes up with the reception in the end zone. Touchdown Buffs. Pretty incredible play. Out to the left-hand side, one-on-one. Sanders a bit underthrew it, and we'll wait for the replay here, but Sanders is getting pulled down to the ground and still comes down with the ball. So he's by himself, breaks past. It's a bit underthrown, yeah, but he was getting tugged on by the defender and still comes up with the ball. Pretty incredible. So that will be putting Hunter well over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Gives Sanders 5 touchdowns for the day. 34 of 41 for 438 yards. Colorado 52. Oklahoma State 0. It is, and we have 11 minutes left in the game. Yeah, Hunter, that was a really nice readjustment for Hunter in the end zone there. So what a day. I want to go and look at the box score and see where Hunter's at. From a rushing perspective, everybody not named Sanders, 49, 50, 58 yards. Receiving perspective, 438 yards. Wester, 2 touchdowns, 175 yards. Travis Hunter, 116 yards now on 10 receptions, 3 touchdowns. So between those two dudes, they got all five of the touchdowns that have been thrown. And you still have Shepard, who's got 67. Hart's got 39. It's not till you get down to Welch Miller, some of these dump offs from the folks in the backfield that you start just getting those as kind of move the chains type of passes and catches. Looking back at Boise State, Oregon State, Boise State has driven down to the Oregon State 3, 3rd and goal. So it looks like that one is getting ready to close out with about 5.5 minutes left. Giante is up to almost 200 yards rushing, 197 on 32 carries. And now it is 4th and goal from the 3. No other changes in scores, notably, outside of Navy. Navy has piled on an additional touchdown. They're now up 27-13, likely pending an extra point. And that was... Oh, and Navy has the ball again as they just intercepted East Carolina. And they are down to the East Carolina 10. So Navy, it looks like, is going to be able to close this one out. Well, with those receiving touchdowns, let's pull up some statistics on NCAA football stat leaders. We will look at rushing. It's a runaway. Gianti, going into the game, had 2,062 yards. He already almost has a couple hundred more today. Let's look at touchdowns. Is what we want to look at, because Hunter with 3 touchdowns today is certainly piling it on. No one's going to touch the top 2 running backs. Gianti has 28 touchdowns going into today. RJ Harvey from UCF, 23 touchdowns as a running back. Bryson Daly of Army has 23 touchdowns as well. Takes down to, let's find the first wide receiver, I think, similar to last week, is Nick Nash. As we get play underway here again, Oklahoma State takes it from their 1, runs it out to about the 27, 28-yard line. Nick Nash is the first wide receiver on the list, has 14 receiving touchdowns. Going into this weekend, let's see, the next wide receiver is Kyle Williams. Looks like Washington State at 12. And then, of course, Travis Hunter started with 12 total, 11 receiving, 1 rushing, and has added 3 more today. So that will kick him up to 15 total touchdowns, into the top 15 for the year. This breakdown: Hunter today, 10 receptions, 116, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Gianti has 32 carries, 197 yards, and then Cam Ward is playing Syracuse tomorrow, and so we'll have to see how Cam Ward does. Smith on a 2nd and 10 steps forward, looks like a bit of a busted play, and stumbles forward for a yard or two. So it's going to be third down, Oklahoma State, third down and 8, 9 maybe. Oh, I'm sorry. They were backed up even farther. They're down at 14, so he tripped after a long drop. And 10 and a half minutes left, third and 14 from the Oklahoma State 19. He throws up a high floater, which is knocked down. It really had no opportunity to make it. And it's not Smith anymore. Actually, Smith has been replaced by Bowman at this point, trying to get a spark for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State nothing's working for Oklahoma State. Looks like Travis Hunter is now on the sidelines for extended number of plays. Wasn't out on that defensive series. Not necessary probably at this point to risk any type of injury. The punt's fielded at the 33. And a good return up to the 50. Was that by Welch, perhaps? Great return up to the 50. Almost breaking that one, which is great. So, current reset of the game, Buffs up 52-0. Quite a showing today. It looks like Shador's day is done as well. So Shador is out, Sanders and Travis Hunter is out. We've got number 16 at quarterback is in for the Buffs to close this out the last 10 minutes of the game. It's a quick handoff to Offerdahl. Picks up a yard or two over to the right-hand side. But clearly resting folks as needed with no need to chance injuries at this point in this game. Another quick handoff up the middle to Offerdahl. He ends up getting about 5-6 yards straight up the gut, which is great. I mean, they haven't had good penetration all day up the gut. Everything's always been down around the side a little bit. Sanders ends his day 34 of 41, 438 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Just a really, really good day for Sanders. Looks like, here we go, was going to be the first pass for 16, and he got demolished. But the guy who hit him is actually down in pain, clearly in pain. And quarterback was slow to get up himself. That was a rough hit. And so that is Ryan Staub, number 16, 0 for 1 in the game, but that was a powerful hit, and both of them, I think, took a serious brunt of that hit. So again, recap: 52-0. I think that the Colorado clearly the dominant team today. Minnesota has now increased their lead 24-7 against Wisconsin with about $1:45 left in the game. So that game is essentially over. Navy is up 34-13. Again, looking forward to the Army-Navy game next week. It's going to be excellent to have two very, very successful teams, playing against each other. Malachi Smith out of the game now for Oklahoma State. Didn't have a good day. 11 for 29, 70 total yards, 2 interceptions. Alan Bowman has stepped in for him and started 0-4. Oklahoma State currently has -9 yards rushing and 70 yards passing. So on the day with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma State is sitting at 61 total yards of offense, which is clearly not what they were expecting in their drive up to Boulder. It'll be a long trip back. 471 to 61 yards, total yards, 1 turnover to 4 turnovers. Those turnovers, clearly a story of every game. If you can win the turnover battle, you have a much better chance of winning. In Colorado, kind of in the driver's seat in possession, 32 minutes to 18 minutes going forward. So a great day. If you're a Buff fan, we didn't need to break out the rally hat, which is right there in the back, waiting for the time that we need the rally. And let's see what the schedule for Colorado athletics looks like. Colorado athletics, December 1, 2024 through December 8, 2024. Let's see what's upcoming. Track and field's coming up for those of you who are following track and field. I did see some replays the other day of the NCAA cross-country championship where the gentleman from Harvard repeated as the two-time champion. And some guy within, I don't know, it had to be minutes of the race starting, actually lost one of his shoes, and he placed second. He ran the entire race with one shoe, which was pretty cool to watch. Colorado athletics this week. Let us see. See what this. Okay, so we've got. Oh, this is not Colorado. This is the CC Tigers, Colorado College. Colorado Buffaloes. All right. So Colorado Buffaloes again is going to continue. Oh, we got a cloudy shadow signing who's looking to jump in the game, possibly from the game. We'll see. We'll see if that's going to work out. See if we can add him in. We're trying. Ooh, good big gain by Oklahoma State on an outside run. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can add him. Wants to join, but wouldn't allow me to join. Oh, there it is. There we go, buddy.
What's up?
Hey, what's happening? You guys left the game?
Oh yeah,
It's close.
we left in the second quarter.
Yeah, that second quarter was not the best quarter.
I think the game was over in the first quarter when it was 21-0.
It sure was, yeah. And when it hit like 52-0, it didn't help. How was the game? It seemed like it was cold there.
Yeah, I think probably by the time they were doing senior announcements in the beginning of the game when they were announcing all their senior players, I think me and Charlie could not feel our feet.
Nice. Well, it looked like there was still, from your photos, there was still some snow in between kind of where the
Oh yeah, we were standing on ice and water.
Nice. Yeah,
and there was the spot of the crowd we were in. There was not going to be any sunlight on us the entire game.
Oh yeah, that makes it even worse. That was down in the student section?
No. We were up in like an upper bowl right behind where like the big jumbotron is.
Okay. Yeah. You're going to be freezing all day. Well, good.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
hey, thanks for joining. You got to drop some sports knowledge on us now. I've challenged everybody. Well, let's see. Gina's mom was on, and her sports knowledge earlier was that if you run over the goalie or you kick the ball over the fence in football, you get points.
There's a goalie?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's one way you can score points. So what type of football knowledge can you share with our international audience of three?
Well, I learned today that Shadur Sanders is the first quarterback in CU Buffs history to be nominated for as many QB awards as he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
He's for the what's the award called? It's one of Jim Thorpe, maybe?
Yeah, for
Jim
like and the Maxwell Award, one of those two, which is like the most valuable person.
Yeah.
Good.
But he apparently got nominated for those and is the first quarterback in Buffs history to be nominated for as many awards as he is.
That's fabulous. Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier about the and the name of the award isn't going to come to me right now, but
Heisman?
the top defensive corner award, and Hunter gets
Oh,
left off the list.
yeah, I think that's a little questionable seeing as he's nominated for an award for the best defensive player in the country, but not the best defensive back. How can he be the best defensive player if he's not the best at his own position?
I agree. I agree. And he's when you look at the stats of the other three finalists, there's not a big difference. It comes down to like tackles. They all have roughly the same amount of interceptions. He got an interception today, which is great.
Oh yeah, I watched it.
Three touchdowns.
Yeah,
So
I think
on
that
the mark.
I don't know. A lot of people's argument for it is that these cornerbacks are they're like island corners that aren't getting targeted a whole lot, so there's not as much like stats that they have to match Travis Hunter. But
Yep.
they're just like, oh, they never target the other cornerbacks because they're just so good. But Travis Hunter just makes plays.
He just makes plays. He's actually had two additional dropped interceptions today. One of them was straight into his hands as he cut the route, and he just dropped it.
Yeah, it seems like Oklahoma State's finally figuring out how to run the ball. I think in the 2 quarters I was there, they might have had 30 yards of offense.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they've had a very anemic day. I
Oh,
think
it's been horrible, and it's been plagued by a lot of penalties.
every time they needed a big penalty to go their way, Oklahoma State, it was kind of like last week or these other games that the Buffs have had that you get flagged for it and something big comes back. It looks like they are up to over 50 yards now rushing.
Ooh,
This
they're on
drive is huge.
63 yards. Good lord.
Yeah, this drive is huge for them. They've eclipsed the 100 yards for the game. I think
Finally.
even before this drive, they were at like 70 yards for the game. So
Yeah, well, it didn't help when in the first half they all their big plays, their big stops, big plays were all plagued by some penalty, offsides, unnecessary roughness,
yep,
something like that. Just a poor plays from them.
yeah, they've had some challenges. Although CU gave them plenty of that. I don't know if you stayed at the game. You were at the game when it was 1st and 10 at the 1st and goal at the 10, and then
For
Oklahoma
who?
for Colorado, and then Oklahoma State had three straight sacks, and it was 4th and goal at the 34.
I was not there for that.
Yeah, that's probably best. Like I can't remember. It's been a while
Um,
since there's been a game where they've had three straight sacks.
let's see. I left right when what is it? 14 caught a like 40-yard pass on the right side of the field, like caught it at like the 4 or 5, like a 40-yard pass right at the end of the second or the first half. That's right when I left.
Yeah, it was. If you're sitting in the sun, you probably would have been a lot warmer.
Yeah, when we were walking back to the car to go eat, we were feeling a little more warmth.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you had a chance to go. How's volleyball been going again all one of our international viewers here at this point? The gentleman
Um,
on the right side of my screen is a volleyball all star at Mount Union.
apparently, our season has not started, so
When's your first match?
January 7th
Okay, so you.
in California.
Oh, really? Excellent. Like a tournament?
It's a tri match, so we play Wisconsin Lutheran, and then we play the defending national champions.
Oh, how's that one gonna go?
No idea.
So, how do you prepare for that? Do you guys watch film?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, and learn like tendencies. Is that the idea?
Uh, tendencies. where people like to swing, what sets are looking like, how they run their offense, where they are for defense, that kind of stuff.
That's cool. And how was the adjustment from the club team to the college team then?
As a setter, it's not crazy hard because I mean I kind of just set the ball. I don't really have to swing or hit against any better blockers or anything.
Sure.
It's not a crazy big adjustment.
Yeah.
It's manageable.
Okay. And your teammates, are they all bigger than what you've been playing on club?
Yeah, I think most of my team is 6'2" to like 6'2" and taller.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
that'll be good. And
yeah.
you get to go out to California.
Thank you. What?
I said, and you get to go out to California, which is
I
great.
do get to go to California.
Yeah.
Yeah, my plus one at the game that took me to it, she was very surprised when I told her that you were Chip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, "No way."
Yeah, Chip gets to do so many more cool stuff nowadays than I got to do. So I feel like if we had the freedom to do half the stuff that they do now, we could have made some memories. Although the big one I think over the last 10 years is when Chip used the wasn't it the t-shirt cannon gun and shot it the wrong way, and actually had it like braced against his crotch and immediately went down as you can imagine. So
That's funny.
yeah, not so good.
So what are CU's college football playoff chances looking like?
Not very good.
Did
We
BYU win today?
all the games are tomorrow. So BYU takes on Houston. Houston's kind of down at the bottom of the Big 12, and it has the lowest, one of the lowest scoring offenses in the Big 12. So that's not looking good for BYU or
Do
for
we? What are the teams that we're competing with? It's just BYU, right, for the Big 12?
nope. It's a four-way tie. Arizona State is actually in the pole position right now, and they play Arizona. So they're in-state rival, except Arizona is not having a good year, but
No,
it's a
they're bad.
rivalry. Um, if they win, I think they're in. So essentially, Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, and Colorado are all tied. Colorado needed to win this game, and they need two of those three teams to lose tomorrow.
Which is unlikely.
One, maybe. Iowa State plays Kansas State. That's the one I'm hoping on. And then I'm hoping that the Arizona State game, somehow the rivalry piece of it pushes Arizona to victory. Because I don't see BYU losing to Houston.
Yeah, I don't know if I see Arizona State losing either. Just the way that they've been playing against, I guess, really good teams this year is kind of scary.
Yeah, I think it'll be hard, and that's what's necessary for Colorado to make it to the Big 12 championship. And then if they can win that, then they can get into the college football playoff. But I don't
I
think they have
mean,
a
a
chance.
bowl game is still an achievement after being a not positive winning record last year.
Yeah, and being 1-11 2 years ago to 9-3 now, that will be.
Whoa! There's still a minute 30.
They may be able to get on the board.
Not quite.
No.
Do they
Well,
take the
for
field
those
goal or?
following the Boise State Oregon State game, Boise State has now won 34-18. So Boise State likely will continue to have the bye weeks in the
I think
college football playoff.
the big game this week is the game. Ohio
Uh,
State,
the
Michigan.
yep, that's tomorrow.
I know. I live in Ohio. Actually, Ohio State fans don't correct that.
Except for Steve Compton,
Who's that?
Emma Compton's dad, who's a big tool and drives us crazy.
Oh, say hi.
Todd,
Hello, how we
how are
doing?
you?
We're hanging in here. 214 minutes in. We're gonna
Yeah,
close
and
it
it's
out.
a really close game, so I don't know.
There's 30
Yeah,
seconds. I could come
It's
back.
a nail biter.
Well,
I've
yeah.
struggled to come up with content today, so it would have been
I bet. Did
good
you stay
good to
warm?
have
No.
Greg and
Was
his
it cold?
brainstorm.
We left in the second quarter.
Did you?
Yeah. And then
A
we
little
went to
chilly?
the Buff Cafe and ate.
Oh, I love the Buff.
You've been there?
Golden Buff?
I think.
Yeah.
Dad
Everybody's been to the
Dad
Golden
didn't
Buff.
know what I was talking about.
Dad, the Golden Buff, you've eaten there.
Everybody eats at the
I
Golden
said
Buff.
the buff. How many the buffs are there?
It's got to be the Golden Buff. You guys should have eaten at the sink or somewhere on the hill.
I don't know. Charlie picked, and she said she wanted to eat the buff, so we ate the buff.
Gotcha. All right, I think your cast is ahead of mine now since my TV's paused a bunch of time. Is it over?
Yeah. Yeah, it's over. This is their first shutout since 2015.
Very good. Very, very good.
This was Shadur, Shiloh, and a couple other of big players' last home games ever.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Jimmy Horn Jr. Sanders
Yep.
walked him out.
Yep. Travis Hunter with a good game. He's on the live stream.
Oh, I think he'll. I think Travis Hunter. This should cement it for him. He had a 120 something yards. 116 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. So he should have a. Hey, Sid. How are you?
Hopefully, that should be Heisman worthy.
Should be enough. Yeah,
I don't think Ashton Ginty running for 200 plus yards against defenses that couldn't do anything against anybody are truly, I guess, that crazy of a stat line when you're. I mean, I get that he's good. I mean, he's run all over some pretty good defenses, but
Yep,
I guess that it kind of pads his stats a little bit when he's running over some pretty bad ones.
I agree. Yeah, he ran for 226 today, which is probably going to give him about 2,300 to end the year.
Good Lord. And they're eligible for the playoffs too, because they're what, 10-1?
They are now 11-1, and they're one of the teams because they're outside of like that Power 4, Power 5.
Oh, they're in like the A5 or whatever, the G5.
They are the highest ranked team in that group, and they get an automatic slot into one of the bye weeks, so they don't even have to play the first week. They are part of the quarterfinals.
That is very lucky. Well, I mean, their one loss was a close game to Oregon. They gave Oregon a run for their money, so
Yep,
not a
Oregon
bad season.
won it at the buzzer, and so I was just saying earlier in this, when you start looking at the teams, like they had the last team in, if you're number 12, which if Colorado somehow makes it to the Big 12 championship game and they win it, they would likely be number 12 seed.
Most likely.
Which gives you a game against Ohio State or Penn State. And okay, that seems like it's not a good thing to get. And then the winner of that game would then go to Boise State or play with Boise State.
I think Colorado could give Penn State a run for their money with how they've been playing lately.
Not Ohio State.
No, Ohio State would probably kick the crap out of us.
Yeah, that defense it would get to Shador every play.
Yeah. And I think Ohio State's offense is a little bit. I'm not going to say Travis Hunter and our secondary is not good, but I don't think they're going to really stop Ohio State's receivers when all of their wide receivers are lethal weapons that are probably just as good as anybody's wide receiver ones.
They're all Americans.
Yes.
All right. So a rundown. Colorado wins the game today, 52-0, as noted by my fine nephew. Was it the first shutout since 2015?
Yes.
All right. 26 first downs to 10 first downs. The Buffs had the advantage there, 471 to 147, using the same numbers, just switching them around for total yards.
Yep.
And the big difference is the turnovers. Oklahoma State had 4. Colorado did have the one trying to remember, the one wonky interception where they were going to the well too many times, the crossing route inside the 10 to Travis Hunter to have him break, and just got tipped up in the air, and then a linebacker jumped and scooped it. So good game by the Buffs. They needed this, and now they need, I don't know,
a miracle.
They still have like a 12% chance with all the things they need to go right.
It's very possible.
Yeah, it is.
We just need a poor team to play a lot better than poor.
That's right. That's right. So we'll know tomorrow. But cool. Well, I'm glad you got a chance to go to the game, sir. I'm glad that you did not freeze to death, and appreciate you joining me here for the
Yeah.
last 10 minutes.
Thank you for letting me join in.
Of course, of course. All right. Well, get back to your Friday. Hopefully,
I
you
will.
have.
You too. Have fun with your little day off.
Will do. All right, and we'll see you next time you join. Buff brother.
Sorry that
There
I
you go.
couldn't join you today, there, fellow
Okay.
Buff brother. But
We made it. We survived. Good thing
nice.
it was.
Sorry, work was busy today so far.
Don't worry. There's 220 minutes worth of recording you can go through.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So.
I
All
like
right.
it.
Well, this is Buff Brother on the right hand coast signing off. We'll see you next time.
See you next
I'll let you sign off first.
See you later from the East Coast.
All right. See ya.